In the tapestry of time, every family has a story to tell, but memories captured in old photos can fade away, lost to the ravages of time. Don't let your cherished memories slip away. Digitizing your family photos is the first step to preserving your legacy. At Legacy Planning and Preservation, we specialize in preserving your family's history. Secure your memories for generations to come. Preserve the past, protect the future. Visit our website now and take the first step to preserving your family's legacy. Don't wait. The moments captured in those photos won't last forever.
Peace, family. I hope all is well. I hope you're having an awesome Sunday. Awesome Sunday. It is cold here in Atlanta. It was warm during the week, but now it's back cold. But I think hopefully, well, not think, I know it's supposed to warm up tomorrow. So hopefully we get some sun tomorrow. Everyone, hit the like button again. Please hit the like button. Also, make sure you share and make sure you subscribe. I will greatly appreciate it. Got a couple of announcements. Excuse me. That's that thumbs up. Y'all listen, if you're in Atlanta, the best restaurant, the best food in Atlanta is a restaurant called Thumbs Up. I eat there about 3 times a week. Again, it's a restaurant called Thumbs Up. Make sure you guys check it out if you're in Atlanta. Shout out to Amari Lives. It's cold. Okay, what's cold in Long Beach? What, 70? What, mid-60s? What's cold in Long Beach? Mid-60s, Amari? Ain't no cold in Long Beach. What was it, mid-60s? I know you guys are supposed to get a lot of rain in the LA area. It's forecast that you guys are going to get a lot of rain. So be careful out there. It's supposed to flood. Low 50s in Long Beach. Hold on, what time is it? All right, it's about 11. It's going to warm up to the 60s, though. What's up, Donnie? Send me some info next time you go to Africa. Extreme X, I'm taking a group. Oh, sorry, announcement. May 12th through the 22nd, May 12th through the 22nd, we are rolling to Senegal for the Jazz Festival. Again, we are rolling to Senegal for the Jazz Festival, okay, in St. Louis. Or, sorry, St. Louis. No, St. Louis. St. Louis. That's how you pronounce it in French. St. Louis. We are rolling to the Jazz Festival. So if you're interested in joining us, visit donfo.africa. Again, visit donfo, DANFO .africa to learn more. Again, visit donfo.africa to learn more. We will love to have you all. So Extreme X, go to the site, send me an email. Make sure you include your phone number. And then there it is. We should be going back to Sierra Leone in April, but I just haven't got final word yet on what's going on. If it's official, not official, the new requirements, still waiting on word back. So I still have hope for April. If not April, it'll definitely be November. Because it's already February. We should have known something by now. So we'll see what's going on. But for sure, Senegal, May, Jazz Festival, come and join us. We'll love to have you guys. All right, go to Donfo, that's DANFO .africa. Not .com, .africa. So come and check us out. So Extreme, we'll love to see you. I don't know who you are, Extreme X, but it doesn't matter. We'll love to have you. Just send me an email, include your phone number, and we'll take it from there. All right, today's topic, man, we got a lot of buyer's remorse. We have a lot of buyer's remorse. People who were Team F Trump, and Trump is this, Trump is that, he's a white supremacist, racist, and all this. Now they're coming around. Now they are coming around. They're like, look, Trump is on the table. People who couldn't stand Trump, who hated Trump, they're like, listen, Trump is now on the table. And we're going to start off with Michael Rapaport, who lives in New York, and he sees, I didn't mean to do that. And he sees what's going on. He's seeing what's going on. He's experiencing what's going on in regards to crime and the immigrant crisis, immigration situation. And he's like, enough's enough. But let's play this video first. And this is when Rapaport records live. So in places like San Francisco and places like New York and LA, you could pretty much walk into a Rite Aid or a Walmart or a Walgreens, load up your bag, whatever you have, and walk right out without paying. And there's nothing they can do about it. And some people are fed up. In fact, in a lot of these cities, these stores are pulling out saying, listen, we're being pilfered, we're being robbed, we're done. And of course, black folks are like, oh, well, you're going to turn this into a food desert. It's going to be a food desert. What are we going to do? Where are we getting prescriptions from? Well, y'all stop stealing. Yeah, San Francisco. You could go into, and they're leaving San Francisco. They're leaving San Francisco. But it's affecting the black community because, again, already we don't have that many. I mean, there's a shortage of resources in certain black communities. And I think it was in Boston where it was either Walgreens or Rite Aid. They're like, look, we're pulling out because of the crime. And black folks are like, well, what are we going to do? I mean, we didn't want to be tough on crime. We wanted to, defund the police. Now it's coming back to haunt us and bite us in the butt. Right. In-N-Out Burgers left Oakland. Denny's left Oakland. All these places are leaving because of the crime, because it's anything goes. So Michael Rapaport was in Rite Aid, and he's just watching people just come in and walk out with shit. Let's play the video.
Help your people grow with Bamboo HR.
Wow, people are bullish on you.
Sign up for a free trial now.
Childhood. A
Gotta
time
get to the
of
commercials.
wonder,
They gotta pay the bills.
exploration, and growth. In Greater Atlanta, though, 500,000.
Thank you, Lee. A wild and surprising video posted online of a shoplifter at a local chain drugstore with some kind of huge haul in stolen goods.
Guys, he walked right by security. Look at this.
Chain drugstore.
There's security right
Shoplifter
there.
at a
Security.
local chain drugstore.
Security. He walks right by security. He walks right by security. Look, security. I remember back in the day, you get your ass hemmed up. Shit, I need to go get a couple bags and walk into a Walgreens or Rite Aid in New York and just walk right back out. Walk in, load up, and walk right back out. Look, security. Sitting there watching. And Michael Rapaport's like, what the hell?
Store with some kind of huge haul in stolen goods.
The man sort of heavily camouflaged, but acting like he was on some sort of game show, filling bags and his arms was filled with stuff and then just walking away. But to experts, they say this kind of theft is more common than ever.
A sign of the times, not a good sign. Here's Eyewitness News reporter Naveen Dhaliwal.
New York City's drugstores are lifesavers.
Is most convenient. I work different shifts or did, and in the past, Rite Aid was always here for me.
Now a huge disappointment for many as this Rite Aid in Hell's Kitchen is closing. Employees say it's because of an increased number of thefts.
There's a lot of people in need and they just don't know how to get what they need. But there's really no.
No. let me stop you right there. So I had an outreach program. I called it Project Peanut Butter and Jelly. And we would go to Skid Row every Sunday. This is back when I was in LA. We would go to Skid Row every Sunday and distribute food to the homeless. I am telling you guys, there are so many resources for homeless people, for people with mental health issues available that are free. That someone walking into a Walgreens and stealing has nothing to do with they just don't know what to do. That's a lie. Or where to go to get resources. That's a lie. There were so many resources available to the homeless there, but it's a choice. It's greed, and it's a choice to walk into a Rite Aid or a Walgreens and walk right back out with bags loaded with stolen merchandise. So nah, don't fall for that, guys. Don't fall for the they don't know what to do. Things are hard. Nah, there are resources out there.
No excuse for stealing.
Just this week, actor and comedian Michael Rapaport posted this video on Instagram, and it's been viewed thousands of times after he says he saw a man stealing.
Yo, this dude is, I can't believe I'm seeing it.
With 2 large bags in his hands, calmly walking out of that Rite Aid on the Upper East Side.
My man just went Christmas shopping in January.
Past a security guard who didn't say a word.
I can't believe I'm seeing it.
Rite Aid confirms this store also is closing next month, citing a decline in earnings.
I'm going to miss it terribly. I'm sad right now.
Retail thefts also a big concern. In 2019, police report almost 38,000 thefts in the city. Last year, it increased to just less than 44,000. That's a 15% increase.
It will affect the communities. It will affect businesses because
2019, Trump was still in office. 2021, Biden's in office.
it's a store and it's a public place.
It's horrible, and the mayor needs to do something about it.
Well, this is what you guys voted for. You guys didn't want to be tough on crime. Vote blue no matter who. We got to get rid of the orange man. You know, all skin folk ain't kin folk. What else? Defund the police. This is what you guys voted for.
Rite Aid confirms that they are seeing an increase in shoplifting incidents, and they're investigating the one on the Upper East Side. They say they're working with police on that case and other cases brought to their attention.
Now, I want to play a video of Michael Rapaport from a few years back when he was going in on Trump. And then I'm going to play his most recent video saying that Trump is on the table. Guys, I told you what was going to happen back in 2020. I put everything on the line, my reputation, everything, saying, hey, look, guys, I know you don't like Donald Trump. I know you don't. But he is the best choice and the best option, period. You don't understand the amount of hate mail that I got telling you guys that this was going to happen. Everything that's happening now, I predicted was going to happen back in 2020. I told you what was going to happen. And it's happening. Shit, it's happened. I told you. And I'm going to rub it in too. I am going to rub this in. I'm going to rub it in. Because I was right. Here we go.
Psychobiotics are a new class of probiotic bacteria with a unique superpower. Roughly 90% of all illness and disease is stress-related. So,
Bye-bye, you fuck. Bye fucking bye, you fuck. Banned. Banned for life. Do you know what kind of a piece of shit you have to be to get banned off of Twitter for life while you're the president of the United States? Bye-bye. I feel like I just had a baby. Now, I have 2 sons, okay? So I have kids, but I feel like I actually just pushed a baby out of my vagina. That's what it feels like right now. I am so fucking happy. I am so elated. I feel like I am lactating. Bye-bye. Banned for fucking life, you dummy, you. You dumb fuck, you.
So this is before Twitter got bought by Elon Musk, and this is before it was found out that the executives at Twitter were biased towards liberal media and were actually targeting conservatives. Now I want to say Trump has been unbanned and is welcome back on Twitter, but he has his own social media platform, Truth Social. Hold on, I got another video for you too. Hold on, I got another one.
A person like that, I don't care if they're Republican, Democrat, Independent, this should not be the president of the United States. Oops, you did it again. You got indicted.
That was our guest, comedian Michael Rapaport, sharing his true feelings about Trump's indictment.
Trump has been so insulting, so derogatory, so divisive, and the grabbing to this and the grabbing to that and the shooting the paper towels at the Puerto Rican people who had just come out of the hurricane and all the antagonistic behavior and during the Charlottesville, Virginia, there's good people on both sides. No, there ain't. This should not be the president of the United States. There should be some decorum and respect that you should have as the president. A person like that, I don't care if they're Republican, Democrat, Independent, this should not be the president of the United States. Ooh.
Sorry about that. Guys, sorry about that. No, I'm back. Sorry about that. I'm back. Technical difficulties. I apologize. I hit the wrong button. Sorry about that. Hold on. Sorry about that, guys. I had pressed the wrong button. I apologize. But let's just jump to his newest video. Well, let's jump to his newest video. Here we go. These commercials. Another commercial. Sorry about that.
Podcast. What more can I say? A lot to discuss. I tweeted about this, and then I did call into the Howard Stern show, so you may or may not have heard about this. So For the third time this year that I'm aware of, this year, 2023, I have lost a job, an actual job. I think I mentioned this on the podcast, but I'm going to go into it a little deeper. I have lost a job because of pig Donald Trump comments 3 times. 3 times. One movie that I was offered that inevitably you'll hear about. One commercial, and then this weekend another, let's call it a commercial. Let's call them commercials. 2 commercials and a actual film.
Did somebody say he's a walking cold
Now,
sore?
The thing with the film, legitimate film, huge comedic star, comedic acting star. I got cast. I got the offer. The way it works is you get an offer. The offer goes to your agent. They make a financial offer. And what happened in this particular situation, allegedly, and I'm going to get my union involved, and this happened a few months ago, but then with the strike, I just kind of let it go, but I'm not letting it go. I try to let things go. It's not my strong suit. They made the offer, and then this comedic star who's a Trump-loving, Mel Gibson-loving, Trump-loving actor put the kibosh, said he doesn't like my politics.
You know what's interesting? So they had no issue, no problem canceling people who were Trump supporters. But now that it's backfiring, they want to cry about it.
And the producers freaked out because this Trump-loving comedic actor, who I respect as a performer, he bucked back. And this film takes place in New York, in the tri-state area. I don't know if I can't remember if it was Jersey, New York, and it's all Italians, except for this actor is not Italian, and the majority of the other actors aren't Italian. And that wasn't a prerequisite to be in the film to play Italian. They wanted real New Yorkers. They wanted my je ne sais quoi, my essence. What I do. James Caan was not Italian. Sonny Corleone. I don't need to go over the lists of actors who have done things. That's some bull. Said he doesn't like Rapaport's politics. Then this dumbass.
See, again, it's very interesting. When they were banning and canceling people for supporting Trump, it was all good. It was all good. But now that is the other way around, it's a problem.
Producer who we'll just call Chris. We'll call him just Chris. Chris, the dumb starts talking to my lawyer about how Michael Rapaport isn't Italian and he's Jewish. And if he's Jewish, he can't play Italian. And this dumb sends texts articulating that, and also has conversations with my lawyer articulating that. Nonetheless, they wind up casting somebody else who is Italian to cover their ass. Although, like I said, the majority of the actors in this film are not Italian, but they're all playing Italians. I'm dealing with that through SAG and possible legal actions. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it, but I got to go through SAG first. And then this past weekend, I got offered, let's say, an advertisement, a commercial for money, real money. I was supposed to be working on Monday, November 13th from 2 to 6 o'clock in Manhattan for real money. The paperwork was being sent in, and then the backers said, we don't want Rapaport because we don't like his politics.
Once again, when they were canceling Trump supporters, it was all good. But now that is the other way around, it's a problem.
We don't like some of his past comments, statements that he has made about Trump. They actually said, Trump, listen, it is what it is. That one sucked because that was a money job. It sucked because I had to tell my wife what happened. And she's always been concerned about this. Yet she wants me to speak my truth. I'm a disruptive warrior. I am a disruptive warrior. I'm too far in now to pull back. I am too far, too deep down the Michael Rapaport full truth and nothing but the truth rabbit hole to pull back now. But that is the third fucking job this year. See, a lot of times I'm assuming it doesn't even get to me. There's been other things too. There's other times where I'm sure, like, for Dick Stain, Donald Trump, who I had conversations with, I might vote for that motherfucker. Oh yeah, I'll break your hearts. Let me tell you something. Things don't get straightened up in this fucking world ASAP. And I know Smoking Joe has said the right thing about Israel. But when I'm seeing motherfuckers in New York City climb in public in front of crowds of people, rip down UN flags, rip down Israeli flags, rip down American flags on Veterans Day, when the economy is the way the economy is, when I'm paying fucking mortgage rates up the wunk up. I mean, I'm getting, forget a colonoscopy. You don't need to get a colonoscopy. Go buy a house. The interest rates, go buy a car. And I know Smoking Joe has done some things for the...
Not Smoking Joe, it's Sleepy Joe. Sleepy Joe. Put some respect on his name. It's Sleepy Joe. All right, go ahead.
I know. But I'm telling you right now, go buy yourself, go check what it's like to buy a car, buy a house, the money, the fucking chaos in this country, the chaos around the world. But I'm too far down the Kringle Mandingo. I'm too far down the disruptive warrior rabbit hole to pull back now. The comments have been made. I said what I said. All you got to do is Google Michael Rapaport. Go to Breitbart.com. Do I support Breitbart? Fuck no, but they have made some fantastic covers of me. I have been on the cover on the internet of Breitbart. They quote me. I've said it here. I've said it all here on the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. And this is a podcast, by the way, and I am a professional podcaster. Some people think that Instagram is my podcast. I still have people that come up to me and go, I watch your podcast on Instagram. Nah, you got to listen. You got to listen to the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast on iHeartRadio and where podcasts are available. Every and all podcasts are available. You still got to listen to the podcast. You might see the clips, but you got to listen to the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast if you want the full package, the whole kit, the whole caboodle. Nonetheless, that's real. It's real. It's fucking real. What I'm saying is real. That I've lost jobs because of specifically what I said about pig dick Donald Trump, shit stain Donald Trump.
Pause.
Draft dodging Donald Trump.
Pause.
You may hear more about it. You may not hear more about it. But I'm not good at letting things go. It's never been my strong suit. It has never, ever been my strong. That's why I got stomach issues. I am not good at letting things go. Now, my stomach issues, knock on wood, my ulcerative colitis is in remission right now. Thank God. Thank God. And I am off all medication right now. I am only on supplements. Thank God. Thank God. Just my colonoscopy. I didn't give you guys my colonoscopy report. I told you about my colonoscopy prep. Colonoscopy came in.
For me, Alpha Brain is the very best product that I've ever found. I notice a difference when I take Alpha.
Like I said, this is all buyer's remorse. I told you it was going to happen. I told you it was going to happen.
God.
And Brandon, we told you guys it was going to happen.
Ulcerative colitis since I'm 16. You don't get ulcerative colitis when you're 16 because you're good at letting things go. Excited, amped up, hateful, hate-filled, frightening rallies where people are covering their faces, saying, in Miami, in New York, on college campuses, in London, in Berlin, they ain't just saying ceasefire, ceasefire. They're saying, fuck you Jews. Adolf Hitler had it right. This ain't just about Israel. And obviously, the majority of these people that are showing up at these rallies, I still truly believe that they're there because they believe that there should be a ceasefire. But the anti-Jewish, the liar, pants on fire, these motherfuckers are lying about everything. And they've said it to your face. The guy was on the fucking news the other day. They tell you they do not want a ceasefire. They want fucking bag of bullshit is that? You're doing a good thing by dying. What kind of fucking hustle and flow, 2-bit, 3-card Monty pimpin' ass bullshit is that? They're trying to convince the world, trying to convince the people of Gaza that they're moral. This is not just about Israel. You think if these motherfuckers do a terrorist attack in the 5+ weeks is frightening? It's discouraging. That's their slogan, like Nike has, like Mike, for 37 days. They don't want to give back these hostages to begin with.
I'm
But
trying
there
to just
was a
find the Trump's part. Like
ceasefire.
I want to skip this part.
Sometimes I don't like them. Too snowflakey. Too snowflakey. I'm not on that snowflake shit. I've had conversations with some of my. If it comes down to pig dick Donald Trump.
Oh, here we go.
Just listen to a guy named Ezra
Why does he keep calling him that?
Sometimes I don't like him. Too snowflakey.
Penis. Like, come on, man.
Too snowflakey. I'm not on that snowflake shit. I've had conversations with some of my. If it comes down to pig dick Donald Trump and smoking Joe Biden.
Sleepy Joe.
I'm sorry. I am sorry. Voting for pig dick Donald Trump is on the table. I'm sorry. I'm fucking sorry. I'll still call him slob dick Donald.
Let me stop it. Dynas is right again. Brandon is right again. We told you guys what was going to happen in 2020. We told you guys how this was going to play out. We predicted all of this. We predicted it. Now, you have the likes of Michael Rapaport, who could not stand Donald Trump. Just listen to what he calls him. Now saying that Donald Trump is on the table. Michael, stop playing both sides of the fence. Either you're going to vote for the guy or not. Don't say he's on the table. Or are you going to vote for him? See, I was 10 toes down Trump 2020, and I'm 10 toes down Trump 2024. Ain't no on the table. I'm voting for Trump like I did in 2020. I'm voting for Trump, period. But I told you guys what was going to happen. I know you don't like the guy. I know you don't like how he acts on Twitter. But if you just listen to the guy, again, if you just listen to the guy, don't listen to the Joy Reid and Angela Rye and Don Lemon's gone. MSNBC, CNN, clips, hot clips of Donald Trump. Just listen to the guy. In fact, let me pull this up. Hold on. Let's finish this. I'm gonna pull up a clip of Donald Trump predicting when he ran in 2016 how the immigration problem is going to affect Black people. Let me be specific. The illegal immigration problem is going to affect Black people. But let's finish. Listen to Michael Rapaport.
Trump, pig dick Donald Trump, and all that. But we need to get this whole fucking situation under control. I listened to the latest episode of Ezra Klein's podcast.
This game, you're not ready for it.
I'll just tell you, it's episode, I don't fucking know. It's called What Israelis Fear the World Does Not Understand. Very, 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 very good. insightful conversation with a gentleman named Yossi Klein Halevi. He does most of the talking about his history serving in IDF. Again, I can't recommend any more Dan Senor. His podcast, Call Me Back, is excellent. I fuck with Ben Shapiro when it comes to all things Jewish. I know you're like, what the fuck, Mike? I've been saying I fuck with Ben. I don't agree with all the shit that he says, but when it comes to Israel, he breaks that shit down. I'm just telling you, listen, I told you fucking guys, I watch Fox News. I've always watched Fox News because number one, it's wildly entertaining. Number two,
Guys, let me tell you something. I know he watches Fox News. Guys, CNN ratings suck. All right. These people don't even support their own propaganda machine. CNN, MSNBC, their ratings suck. Fox News ratings, especially when Tucker was at Fox News, was off the chain. When Tucker Carlson was at Fox News, their ratings were out the roof. Still are. Much more than CNN and MSNBC. So who's watching Fox News? People like Michael Rapaport who tell you he can't stand Donald Trump. He can't stand the right. The left is who supports Fox News. If you don't know, CNN, they just laid off a whole bunch of people here in Atlanta. Got rid of Don Lemon. MSNBC's getting rid of people too. All these people watch Fox News, but then they come and tell you that the right, they're idiots and racists and dummies and all this other stuff. And Trump is a dummy. But then they go watch Fox News.
you got to listen and appreciate and try to keep an open mind to the opposing points of view. That's just the way it's like if you're a New York Giants fan, you want to listen into the playbook. You want to listen to the huddle of Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. You're going to listen in. You can't stand these motherfuckers, but you want to hear what they have to say. Look at it that way, you fucks. Open your fucking mind. Be a critical, independent thinker. Don't just listen to fucking CNN, CNBC, Fox, and all that shit. Been saying that. Fantasy football team. What a season. What a fucking season. My season is not as bad, though, as the New England Patriots. You guys stink. I love it. You lost in Germany. Where the fuck were they playing? Germany. Lost again. Ha 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 ha. But my fantasy football team can't catch a fucking break. I cannot.
Go ahead, Alan.
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's up,
hey, you know, I had to call in because I just really can't stand this guy's blatant hypocrisy. You know, he will go out there and I mean, on one hand, I appreciate the fact that he sticks with his own and that he will stick with Ben Shapiro because he's Jewish and with his own people. But at the same time, both those guys are flaming hypocrites when it comes to all that. He will get here in the United States, talk about defunding the police and all this stuff like that, and then when it comes to people trying to protest for the rights of the Palestinians, he'll be against that. And Shapiro is even worse because he's been a free speech person his entire life, and now he's advocating for students to have penalties for you know, speaking out against Israel. It's utterly ridiculous. His greater point, though, about you know what's going on in these stores is kind of ridiculous. I mean it's not ridiculous. It's 100% correct. You know, we can't have this. I've been on here many times to let you know that I voted for Biden, and I regretted it. And as people who've been listening to the show can tell you, almost immediately, I was like, what the hell have I done? Right? Won't make that mistake a second time. But I grew up in New York. I grew up in upstate New York, but still New York.
Where Albany, Buffalo? What
I lived in Buffalo, went to grad school in Buffalo, grew up in Rochester. But you know, there's a thing in the urban centers in New York where you just don't vote Republican, period. And this guy's having the same cognitive dissonance that I had to struggle with, in that we have these voting patterns and these voting habits, but even when the stuff is blatantly sitting right in front of you, to letting you know that you made a mistake, you know, he still can't pull the trigger on Trump, and neither can I. You know, I'm
So
struggling
are you going to
with
vote
that.
for Biden again?
Not at all. I will do Jill Stein like I did the time before that.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I would never vote for Biden again, though. I can't believe how, to this day, I still can't believe how bad this is, on every front, but especially on foreign policy. I'll never get it. And now with that foreign policy mess has come to our shores, where you know, and that's it's an untenable situation for me. Untenable.
Well, at least you admitted that you made a mistake. Because I told you, I knew what was going to happen. Like, I knew this shit was going to happen.
Isn't it obvious though? Listen,
if you would just take the time out and really listen to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, you would know this is a bullshit. But if you took the time out and just listen, not the sound bites that they put on that the media puts out about Donald Trump, if you just listen to the guy, you'll be like,
yeah.
Right.
I mean, but you know, here's the thing. Many of us were so tired of Donald Trump that, you know, and his acts and his actions and everything, that we were willing to vote for anybody.
Yeah, but his acts played was so small. It was the media
in
that
comparison to this, yes.
In comparison to what he was actually doing.
No, you're right. You're right. I've had to come to grips with the fact that you know, the Republicans were right, that the media was out to go after Trump. And they exacerbated a lot of stuff that he did and said, which there's a lot there to exacerbate. Let's be clear. But you know, he's not as bad as this guy Joe Biden. This guy Joe Biden's the worst president of my lifetime.
All right, go ahead, T.
Well, the thing is, Joe Biden is a true Manchurian candidate, man. Like, and this is why the Democrats want to run him again. And this is why pretty much all the power structures is aligned behind Joe Biden, because you got to understand that this man's brain is gone. Joe Biden is not running this country. He's being ran by corrupt elements. Just think about it. He's not making any decisions in the White House. Kamala Harris is too stupid to make any decisions following Joe Biden. It is all the corrupt foreign policy. You know, when you think about, especially in the foreign policy field, you know.
Let me play this real quick. Sorry to cut you off, man, but I gotta play this.
Yeah, man. Sure, man.
All right, sorry, that'll pass it right back to you.
Cool, man. I'm building something anyway.
This I had to pull this up. Hold on. Here we go. Like, you cannot tell me, like you said, that hold on. Here we go. You cannot tell me, like he said, that this guy is running the country. Hold on, watch this. You can't tell me this guy's running the country. You can't tell me this guy's running the fucking country. Hold on. Let me start from the beginning. That'll pass back to you, T. I mean, it's not funny, but it's just like, come on.
Hey, Donis, you know what's crazy? You remember when they were saying Trump had dementia, he needs to get mentally tested? Look at how the media is so tepid with Biden. Could you imagine if Trump did that?
Bing, 10 shot.
Could you imagine?
Mr. President, thank you.
You can't make this up. You cannot tell me this guy is running the country. Go ahead, T.
No. So when you have someone like that in power, that is like the status quo, deep state's best person, because, man, they can get anything done. And that's what's happening. That's why you're seeing the economy deteriorating. That's why you're seeing all these resources going to Ukraine, Israel. We are back to the, you know, America being the policeman of the world. You know, it's just the status quo. And, you know, under the Biden administration, notice there are no leaks coming out. like it was under the Trump administration. There is nobody trying to impeach him. It's back to normal because what they want is the American people to be stupid and not know what's really going on. When Trump was in power, that's when people really knew what's going on. Why? Because they hated him so much. They figure out the 3 branches of government, how that worked, and things like that. So, this is why I believe they're pushing Biden so hard. And a question I want to ask Alan is, how are New Yorkers, well, first of all, are you still in New York?
No, I live in Baltimore, believe it or not.
Dang, okay. I was going to ask you, are New Yorkers?
Damn.
No. The reason why, because I was going to see if New Yorkers with this immigrant thing, are they thinking about looking at the Republicans? I was trying to see, or are they still gonna vote for Biden? I was just curious about that.
They'll vote for Biden. They'll vote for Biden. Everyone votes in the state of New York, and I'm an upstate New Yorker, but in the state of New York, everybody in the city centers vote Democrat, and for a variety of reasons, usually having to do with unions and other considerations. So they're going to vote Democrat regardless in the state of New York. New York, if you look at it, voting patterns is more Democratic than even California.
Wow. So immigrants flooding and resources being used, it ain't gonna change nobody's vote. They're gonna still vote blue and just complain about it.
It'll change some people's votes, but I'm telling you, it's definitely not going to change the vote of people like people in my family who sit around watch MSNBC all day.
See, mine do too. And man, one last question, man, and then I'm passing by. Man, the thing what black folks got to know about Jews is you kind of see how they stick together. Like, that Jews don't do how FBAs do, where if you are a liberal or conservative, they don't talk. The Jewish liberal will talk to the Jewish conservative and vice versa. Only in our community where you have the liberal, and it is the liberal being hostile towards the black conservative over whatever white liberals hate. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pass the mic on that one.
It's not even anybody being hostile anything. The
Hold on,
Jews don't. Let me play my video.
Let me bring in Lumumba the right way. Let me bring in Lumumba the right way. Let me bring you in the right way, Lumumba. This is for you. This is for Lumumba. This is for you. This is for you right here. Let me bring you in the right way. You're so used to it. You're so used to it, Lumumba. You're so used to it. I know you know the words. See the words. See the words, Lumumba. See the words.
They need to hire a lyricist.
Those our favorite part. This is our favorite part. Let's go. See the words, Lumumba. Okay, I had to bring you in the right way.
Did this man dirty?
I had to bring you in the right way, Lumumba. I had to bring you in the right way. Lumumba, hold on. I got to give you a fact. I got to pass the bread and I'll pass it to you. You know, the University of Georgia has beat Michigan more times in the last 3 years than y'all.
So first and foremost,
is that? Do you acknowledge that fact?
Can I speak?
Acknowledge that fact? Can
I speak? Can I answer the question?
Can you acknowledge that fact? Can
I answer the question?
Can you acknowledge that fact, Lumumba?
That is a fact.
Thank you.
Okay. And I just want to veggie back on what Brother T. Khalik just stated about this antagonistic divide between black people based on ideology. I think Dinah Samir's actions and bringing me on the show is a representative of that very issue that plagues our community, and is one of the things that prohibits us from being able to move forward and restore ourselves to our traditional greatness as African people. So I just want to put that out there. But what I will say is, it's a new year, it's 2024, and I'm stating right here rather emphatically that the Ohio State University will win the national championship. So we could focus on the topic of today, but we will. And very quickly, Caleb Downs, the #1 safety in the country that you all thought was going to go to Georgia because he left Alabama. Who did he commit to?
It doesn't matter.
Ohio State University.
Listen. There's no
Exactly.
shortage of.
If it didn't matter, you all wouldn't have wanted him. If it didn't matter, you all wouldn't have wanted him.
Labuba, there's no shortage of talent at the Ohio State University. I'm not going to argue that. But
right, because you weren't even good enough to go there. I know you weren't good enough to go there.
I could have went there.
You weren't good enough. We didn't want you. We didn't want you. We knew that you suffered from. We knew that you suffered not only from ugly glasses but from fumbleitis. We knew that. That's why we passed on you.
Hold on. We're gonna tell this right now. Press 1 in the chat room, but my glasses look better than Labuba's glasses right now. Press 1 in the chat room. Labuba got all those glasses that you get at the checkout aisle at Kroger.
I got these at Lens Crafters, brothers. I got these at Lens Crafters.
Right, at the little
you don't want to try to act like listen. You don't want to try to act like you don't want to dress like an extra and paid in full. Stop it, okay?
Nah, I was thinking I was thinking Bruce Leroy in The Last Dragon. Honestly.
Oh man. Okay. So what's the topic we talking about?
Don't hate on Carl Kanai.
You Bruce Leroy right now. Take that Carl Kanai.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it a buck though. We're gonna keep it a buck.
Let me say this. First, can you play my video? Because this is worse than the falling down by far. I'm gonna just play this. This is who's running your country.
Look. The beer brewed here, it is used to make the brew beer in this refinery. Oh, Earth Rider, thanks for the Great Lakes. I wonder why it's
I don't know if that was his age or
like, nigga, what are you talking about? And people laughing like, hey, they don't even know what he said. That just shows you a lot of people are idiots, right? They want.
Well, I would argue what it also shows is that for most people, presidential elections are like being student class president in high school. It's a popularity contest, and it was
there's no student. There is no student body on earth that will vote for somebody mumbling incoherently like that. They'll be clowning that.
I don't mean to say that on your platform, but you listen. Most high school elections are popularity contests, and most of the individuals who typically are voted, as student body president, are not qualified to do the job. A good example of this, and this is of course a pop culture reference, was I was watching this with my daughter. Old school, I was having an inner child moment, right? With my daughter, we were watching an episode of Family Matters, where Eddie was running for student body president, and he was popular. He played on the basketball team, so on and so forth, the E-Man, and he was running against a young lady who had great ideas and would have been a great student body president, but she didn't have she wasn't charismatic enough. She didn't have the social cachet. And Eddie went to his father and said, what should I do? He said, he told his dad, Carl Winslow said, you should do the right thing. You should drop out the race so that she will win. But oftentimes that's what happens, right? I can recall when I was in high school. So it's something that happens. I would argue oftentimes it's popularity contest.
But even Eddie knew how to talk coherently, bro. That's all I'm saying. Like, I get that it's a popularity contest, but what old person who should be in like somebody in the comments said, an assisted living facility is popular? Like, at some point, the person has to at least, like, you got presidents who sucked, who just might have been good looking, or they were popular. People liked them, like Barack Obama. Barack Obama didn't have no real policies. He just was a popular guy. He was a charismatic dude. Nothing's wrong with that. But he also was a good speaker. Now, George W. Bush, he wasn't such a great speaker, but he had a certain, thing about him that basically it connected with a lot of hillbillies.
They ran a platform. They ran a platform based on what they call compassionate conservatism.
But let me tell you this about Allen, right? There is no group on earth who tolerates people like Allen, right? Because if you can't be objective, you can't be credible. Allen is only going against Trump based on pure emotions. He doesn't even have a reason not to like Trump. He just like, I don't like him, so I'm a vote. So I would say this.
Can I respond to that?
Can I finish lambasting you first?
Okay. Listen, man, you brought my name up too. I
can't wait for me to get the insults off. Damn.
Okay.
Anyway, just a glutton for punishment. No, I'm just kidding.
I kind of am, actually.
No, but look, No, I'm being real. Alan is like, Biden is the worst ever, but I'll vote for Jill Stein. Do you realize that people like, there are people who take away votes from a candidate, right? Like Ross Perot back in the day. You're voting for Jill Stein. Why? You don't know a single Jill Stein policy that's useful for anything, but you do know that the illegal immigration displaces black people. It hurts us more than anybody. You know that Joe Biden basically hates black people. You know he's an enemy of your racial group. What has Trump done that is so bad that you would just basically sacrifice your community to Joe Biden just because you can't bear to vote for Trump? Like, I want you to answer that question. What has Trump done to hurt you? And I ain't talking about your feelings. We being objective here. What has Trump done to hurt you or your community that gets you to the point where you're like, I can't vote for Trump to save my life?
Well, I've been on your platform and Dinah's platform, both telling you why I don't like Trump, and I don't want to completely rehash it.
No, we're not talking about like. We talking because this is beyond like at this point. Alan,
It is beyond like, but what I'm saying is that he's just not the kind of person I feel represents a country very well. It's sad that he is significantly better than Biden. It's sad. But that is the situation you're in. So in answer to your question, I'm struggling with voting for Trump. I'm seriously considering it, but as of now, I'm thinking about just voting for Jill Stein, just because I did it before when I refused to vote for Hillary Clinton, and I know for a fact that I'll vote for somebody. It ain't gonna be Biden. That's just
let me ask you this. Let me tell you this. This lady, Jill Stein, give me one policy that she is promoting, that she's going to champion, that's actually going to benefit black people.
Well, she was basically running on the reason why I voted for her before in 16 was basically she was running on the same platform that what's his face was running.
You mean Joe Biden, right?
No, not Joe Biden.
Oh, okay, because let me say this.
He was running. She was.
Wait, Alan. Let me just say this real quick. Where does Jill Biden stand on immigration? I would say that's the number one thing facing everybody, especially African Americans. Deporting undocumented people. Jill Stein is against mass deportation. Pathway to citizenship. Jill Stein has supported allowing undocumented immigrants a pathway to citizenship. Separating families. Jill Stein is against separating migrant families. Refugees and asylum. Jill Stein is in support of offering refugees asylum. Where does she differ from Joe Biden? Where does she differ?
She differs from Joe Biden because she's why am I forgetting old boy's name? The guy who ran for the socialist there. What's his name? Bernie Sanders. Yeah. She basically is running the exact same platform as Bernie Sanders. And
so you're a socialist.
So I'm not a socialist, but I was willing to give him a chance based on what I was seeing. I didn't want to vote for Biden in the primary. I mean, not for at the time it was Hillary Clinton in the primary. I couldn't vote for Hillary Clinton.
So I
chose somebody else.
So I would say this, and this is just to provide a retort.
That's just where I was with that.
Or to provide a retort to Brandon's comment about Obama. So according to the New York Times, the Obama administration, both administrations, set the record for most deportations in a presidential administration. So that is one thing that he did do. Right, the Obama administration, according to the New York Times, set the record for most deportations by a presidential administration.
But Joe Biden and Obama are two different presidents.
No, I'm not talking about Biden. I'm just saying that is something that Biden did. I mean, something that Obama did.
Oh yeah, Obama wasn't playing with the immigration shit. I do respect.
And one of the things when Trump was in office, I was teaching, and a lot of students took issue with, them incarcerating children, separating families, deportations. And I said, well, this is selective outrage. And they said, why? I said, because Obama did the same thing and set a record for it, and no one had a problem with it. I
And
said,
somebody-
hold on. So I said, is the issue the person who's in the Oval Office, or is the issue the policy? Because every president has done this. Hey, you show up illegally, you're deported. So the issue is it that you don't like the person, or is the issue that you take umbrage with the policy?
No. Biden does not have no. You show up and you're deported.
Well, I'm not speaking of Biden. I'm just talking about from Trump on back. And his predecessors, they had a policy of deporting illegal immigrants. That's what I'm saying.
I have
That's
no
something about
problem with them with their immigration policies. That's why you never heard me speak against Obama's immigration policies. Joe Biden is purposely trying to flood this country with illegal, criminal, alien migrants. He's purposely doing that. And I don't think Joe Biden is doing it of his own volition. I believe he's just an old man who is cognitively impaired, and he has someone close to him who's probably getting paid to go and say, Mr. President, we need to do this and do that. And Joe Biden's listening to him. And it's probably his son.
He's a Manchurian candidate, man.
But I would make the argument that's being done irrespective of who's in office. For example, we know that most of the individuals that want illegal immigrants to come to this country are rich white folk. Because they're able to pay. They're able to pay illegal immigrants under the table for less money than they will someone who's an actual American citizen. That's a reality.
Well, this is why.
That's the reality. This has been documented by the Wall Street Journal, by the New York Times, and by the Washington Post.
Before y'all go, I gotta call Lumumba out for contradicting himself, because he just said all administrations are basically letting immigrants in because rich white people want immigrants in. No. And all the people in the comments are dumb agreeing with him, because 2 seconds ago.
So anytime someone disagrees with your perspective, you call them a name. I got you.
Hold on. They're dumb because you literally just said 2 seconds ago that every administration before Trump had the same policy of if you come in this joint. Let me finish my statement. Jesus Christ.
Two things can be true at the same time.
What's the truth?
I give you an example. During the civil rights movement,
when I'm making a good point,
during the civil rights movement,
filibuster me because I'm right.
Presidential administration supported civil rights initiatives while also supporting the Tuskegee experiment. Two things can be right at the same time.
You're wrong as two left shoes.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. It's substantiated by the leading world-class newspapers in this country.
Lumumba, let Brandon finish. Go ahead, Brandon.
Dinus,
Let
we
Brandon
all
finish.
sat here with our 2 ears and 1 mouth.
Go ahead.
And heard this dude say that every administration before Trump had a policy where if you came in this joint illegally, you were immediately deported. He just said that. Then he fixed his mouth to say that, all the administrations want illegal immigration because rich white folks want illegal immigrants to come. Well, if that's the case, why was you just patting Obama on the back? The reality
I wasn't patting him on the back. I made a statement that was factual.
Let's say I was patting him on the back. The reality is, up until Joe Biden, we enforced our borders. That's what we did. There is something at work here that is sinister, where the president of the United States is no longer operating in the best interest of even the safety of the United States citizens, because every president understood one thing, just like every rich white person understands one thing. If you let a terrorist cell up in this bitch and they start blowing shit up, you're going to have a major problem on your hands. Nobody, hold on real quick. Let me say this, and this is my last point. What I'm telling you is, Hunter Biden, this is my theory, and usually, Dinus, let's be real, Dinus, 9 times out of 10, my theories are correct, since you've been knowing me, right?
I would say 85%.
85 is real good. It's better than Biden. Let's go there. Better than Biden and Lumumba. Listen, I'm telling you that Hunter Biden is collecting money on behalf of the Biden family to allow immigrants or migrants from different countries around the world to invade America unimpeded. Joe Biden has cut a deal with these different oligarchs and these different administrations around the world to let a certain amount of their people leave their country and come into America. And I believe the biggest thing is for remittance And also so that these people when it's all said and done will be able to try to take America from the inside. Where's the evidence? I don't have any, but guess what? We found cocaine in the White House and ain't nobody found out who brought it in yet. And I know that place is surveilled.
Bro, hey, listen, I'm gonna take it a step further. They was shooting porn in the they got caught shooting the gay porn in the I think at the Capitol.
Facts.
Yeah.
When did this take place?
This was like, hold on, let me pull it up.
This is last one. Yeah, you don't show that video. Don't show that.
No, I'm not pause. No homo. I'm not gonna show the video. I'm gonna show the news.
You got the video. Hold up. Hold up.
No, I don't have the vote. The news clip. No, pause. Okay. I ain't got no video.
Okay.
Hold on.
I'm about to say that's what y'all do down in GA. Okay. It's a safe space. It's a safe space.
Hey, while they're doing that, I want to make a point that that the president who was the worst on immigration was actually Ronald Reagan. He was the worst. He's the one who gave people amnesty, gave millions of people amnesty to enter the country. So I wouldn't say every president was there, because we wouldn't have the problem today of with and Latinos wouldn't be the second group surpassing Black people if it wasn't for Ronald Reagan. I believe that this is something that people they want to do. They want to bring in these people to make them the second group in this country, so they don't have to be.
They already are the second largest minority group.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So they don't have to be dependent on Black people to vote for them at over 80% in order to win anything.
It's not about that. What it's about is they're bringing in the criminal element from other countries so that it turns America into even more of a cesspool, so that Americans will be so afraid to even come out of their front door, we will relinquish our freedoms over to the government. This is exactly what they did in the Black community with Biden's 94 crime bill. They let the Black community become so crime ridden to where people were hostages in their own home. And what did the Black community do? We went and begged Joe Biden. The Black pastors went and begged Joe Biden to make totalitarian law enforcement changes, implement totalitarian law enforcement policies in the Black community. This is an old play. This is an old playbook, guys.
But it sounds like
I didn't have a problem with the 94 crime bill for a number of reasons. One of the reasons why Black people advocated for the bill is because the level of violent crime that Black people were victims of in their own communities.
I agree with you.
I completely disagree with that.
I agree with you.
I'm serious. I remember this because we're talking about the mid-90s. My brother had a starter jacket. You know, my brother was working summer job, bought a starter jacket for back to school. My dad stole the jacket from my brother and threw it away, because he was afraid that he was going to be killed walking to school wearing the jacket.
I remember when I was little, dudes was getting killed over wearing British Nike.
Yeah, British Nikes, Jordans, Barclays, the whole nine. I think a reasonable person would want someone who engages in that type of criminal activity to be incarcerated for a long period of time.
Yes, but
I don't see the issue.
Yeah, but that's not what the 94 crime bill did.
Interject real quick. I think, but the problem is, don't say you support the 94 crime bill. Then 20 years later, you're talking about is part of it's systematic racism.
Well, I've never said that.
Well, not you. But I'm saying
real quick.
I did.
Here's the thing: if you don't want to go to jail, don't commit crime. It's not hard not to go to prison if you don't commit.
It was a part of systematic. It was a part of systematic white supremacy. It was a horrible bill. The 86 drug laws, the 94 crime bill.
Well, I understand the 86 drug laws, but here's
both done by Biden.
The majority of
racism,
Black people did not sell or use illicit drugs.
I get that part, but that's not the point. The point is that we have a drug-ridden society, and what they did was they're picking and choosing based on the drugs.
There are a number of vices in this society, but I don't engage in them. We have to be self-determined enough not to do that crap.
I'm not disagreeing with that, but what let me just finish this. What I'm disagreeing with is this idea that those laws were just and fair. They were not. It was specifically funding the prison industrial complex. It was specifically picking and choosing which drugs to prosecute more, whether between crack and cocaine. It was awful legislation, and they used Black people, both Republicans and Democrats, in order as the way of pushing this nonsense forward. whether it be Willie Horton or anything like that. They act as if there's a uniparty. It was
what
awful.
you guys don't understand, and what you, or maybe you understand, you just refuse to accept it. When you understand that the black community in America is the right arm of white supremacy, we love it, we praise it, we worship it. How many black people mama used to tell them to be more like white folks? They big mama, oh, we gotta do this like the white folks. How many black folks down in the South where niggas supposed to be running shit, shucking and grinning at a white person, good morning, sub, Moti sub, but won't even say hello to another black person? Black people have to understand, if white supremacy is a dog trainer, we the dog. We doing whatever the white supremacy tell us.
I would argue that yes, there are some black people who think that way, but
especially the black church.
Hold on. I could make that argument as well because the whole white Jesus thing. But I would argue that this is also something that's very pertinent. That's pertinent in the Latino community as well. They even have a concept called Black Lamento, where they try to lighten the race, and they believe that if you marry a white person, you're bettering the race in your family. So we find a number of racial non-white people thinking that way.
Let me say this. I know that the black church is the right hand of white supremacy because when Biden needs to try to salvage his reputation, where the first place he go get his ass up in a pulpit at a black church.
I won't disagree with you about the black church. I would agree with the black church.
When you guys understand that the enemy within is destroying us and hurting us more than the enemy on the outside ever could, and we have to reject a lot of the things within our own community wholesale, we'll be better off for it. But what I'm not going to do is just sit here quietly while a bunch of black men tell me why they can't vote against the one candidate who is proven to be against illegal immigration, proven to be willing to champion the situation at the border, proven to be down to come to the table with black people and help implement policies that we suggest and we want, that we fight for and stuff. I don't understand how a black man reconciles it in his mind to say, well, I'm going to vote for Joe Biden light, Jill Stein, or I'm going to vote for Cornel West, like they never saw the freaking Jimmy Dore interview of Cornel West, where even Jimmy Dore was like, I supported Cornel West. I will never vote for him. He is nothing but a walking Joe Biden billboard. When Cornel West did an interview that was supposed to be about his presidency, and all he talked about was how good Joe Biden is and how bad Donald Trump is. You guys are, the cognitive dissonance is at an all-time high amongst black males. That's cognitive dissonance, Alan. You know it.
Listen, this is the issue. You're taking somebody who has never voted Republican before in his life and is even considering doing it because it's gotten so bad on my side. That's not cognitive dissonance. That's a shift. It's a seismic shift.
That is cognitive dissonance. I can't stand Joe Biden, but I'm going to vote in a way that may reward Joe Biden with the presidency.
How would that reward Joe Biden? How would that provide Joe Biden the presidency?
How is that going to reward Joe Biden?
That doesn't make any sense.
No, yes, it does.
No, it's not. He's going to Joe Biden's going to win my state regardless.
You don't know what you're talking about. Because
I do know what I'm talking about. He's going to win my state regardless.
Well, let me say this as fact. When you looked at the last presidential election, Joe Biden had 7 million more of the popular vote. But when it came down to the delegates, Joe Biden only beat Donald Trump by like not even 10,000 votes.
And I agree with that. And what I'm saying to you is that he's going to win the state of Maryland with the people around here, regardless.
You're a Maryland brother?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let me read the super chat real quick. Usman Kone, will voting for Cornel West help Trump? Some black people would rather vote for the couch than vote for Trump directly.
Well, I think Cornel West, his campaign is a joke, right? Because I saw his Breakfast Club interview. He was all over the place. And one of the things that a lot of academics do is they try to mesh things that actually don't connect. For example, Cornel West is a Christian, and he tries to tie in, this concept of Christian Marxism, when Marxism in itself is antithetical and very apprehensive to religion in general, particularly Christianity. So when I saw it, he was all over the place. It was almost like he was lecturing like a professor rather than someone who was actually trying to convince your constituents to vote for him. So I wouldn't take his campaign seriously anyway.
Let me read the super chat. Timbo Slice, $5. Obama and Biden reduced the sentencing of crime, and Trump and Bill Barr went and put it back except to the max facts. No, that was the so what was the second? What was it? The second
Timbo
step?
Slice's line.
Yeah, that's he's lying like a mother. What was it called? The second step?
First step. First step.
Yeah.
First step, Joe Biden, Barack Obama refused to sign it into law. So I don't know what the hell this guy's talking about.
Yeah.
And then Trump came, and at first Trump was against it, but then Kim Kardashian and a bunch of other people lobbied for it. Trump went ahead and read it, and then he went ahead and signed it into law. He reduced the sentences. He also let a lot of people out who had ridiculously long sentences.
Yeah, he commuted their sentences. Yeah.
Yeah, he got people out of jail.
Kwame Kilpatrick.
What I want to say is this. I want to say this. When we look at Alan, you don't understand how much power your words have. Alan, you come across as a guy who's very informed and smart and objective and a person who has good discernment. When you get up here and say, I just can't vote for Trump, I'm going to vote for Jill Stein. Sometimes we got to understand our people. A lot of black people are always looking for an excuse to not do the right thing. A lot of black people look for an excuse to do self-harm. It's just the way we are as a community. It's like my aunt. She's a crackhead, right? My aunt will be clean for no, I'm going to be real, though. I'm going to be real. My aunt will be clean for 3 years, right? She'll be in school. She'll have a job. She'll be doing the most. When my aunt starts getting that itch, she don't just go out and hit that Pookie. She don't just go out and hit the Glass D. My aunt looks for an excuse to go do that. So she'll start trying to I remember one time we were at just a little family get together at my grandma's house, right? We in the kitchen. They start arguing about something real insignificant. My aunt talk about, oh, you calling me a crackhead? Well, I guess I need to go out and get high then since I'm a crackhead. I swear to God, I was sitting at that table didn't nobody call this heifer a crackhead? Like nobody called you a crackhead, but she's looking for an excuse. That's black people.
I would say this. I think
and Alan, you giving them one?
No, to equate the black community, black people as a whole, all 45 million members of the African American community, as being congruent with the actions of someone who was addicted to drugs is not only
that crack rock, Lumumba, stop playing.
Not only disrespectful, but it's a false equivalency.
No, it's not.
Yes, it's not. Yes,
no, it's not.
Because I've been around people when I was younger and doing stupid things in the street who were on drugs, and black people do not act like people who are drug addicts.
Yes, we do. We do. Black people. No, we don't. Black people exhibit the same self-destructive behavior.
So you're saying you exhibit that behavior as well because you are black?
Yeah, I used to till I stopped being a nigga. Let me tell you this real quick.
Can I put it in a better term?
We know. Wait a minute. We know that voting Democrat destroys our community. We've known that for 60 years. The same way a crackhead knows that's hitting that crack pipe is going to destroy his or her body and mind. Yet we continue to do it. That's drug addict behavior.
That's not drug addict behavior.
So we like to talk. Brandon likes to talk facts. Here's some facts.
All facts.
Both political parties are funded by the same special interest groups and lobbyists.
Fine.
Those are facts. So we talk about facts.
Donald Trump is being attacked by both political parties.
Once again,
both are, but there is a civil war going on in the Republican Party that y'all can't deny.
The fact is that both political parties have a history of anti-black policies against the black community.
One party.
Both political parties supported the apartheid regime in South Africa.
Lumumba,
both political parties supported the compromise of 1877 that removed federal troops from the South. Right? So these are things that are a reality. I just wrote an article on this on Medium not too long ago.
Joe Biden didn't support apartheid. I don't even like Joe Biden, but I'll say he stood up against.
I didn't say Joe Biden. I said
he is a part of the party. Then, damn it.
Right, but he doesn't. He's not the wholesale representative of the party. So you're trying to conflate what I'm saying. I said the party. I didn't say an individual.
Listen.
I said the party. I didn't say individual. Let me like to overtalk people. But this is not the Brandon show. This is the Diners Search for a Who show. So you're not in control here. You're not going to take what I say and then try to flip it and conflate it into something else. I said political parties. I said nothing about an individual.
Let me do this. Hold on, Brandon. One mic. Let me play this video real quick. I'm gonna give a strong pause disclaimer. This ain't the video. It's just the news, the story. but it's not the video. And then I'm gonna pass it to Mexican Condor. Let me go ahead and play this real quick.
Crypto makes the world go forward.
And developing on Capitol Hill, a U.S. Senate staffer who worked in Maryland Senator Ben Cardin's office is out of a job after video allegedly shows him having sex inside of a Judiciary Committee hearing room. Aiden May Swarovski reportedly recorded himself in the act. Senator Cardin released a statement confirming that he is no longer employed by the U.S. Senate, but did not elaborate any further. That former staffer also released a statement admitting he showed, quote, poor judgment.
I heard you.
Wait, what was the senator?
Are you
again?
a small business owner that's looking?
Huh?
What was the name of that senator again?
That's Ben
Hold
Cardin.
on,
Is my senator.
Okay, so very quickly, and I know you want to pass it.
I got to pass it to Mexican Condor.
But one of the things I mentioned, both political parties are funded by the same special interest groups and lobbyists. So aside from semantical issues, they largely agree. Both administrations supported apartheid in South Africa. Both administrations supported the end of Reconstruction. Both administrations supported the counterintelligence program against civil rights and Black power organizations. Both political parties supported foreign aid to Israel, and both political parties supported Operation Iraqi Freedom. These are facts. So I don't care about an individual. We're talking about the party.
Okay, let me pass it to Mexican Condor. Mexican Condor, go ahead. Mexican Condor, you there? Mexican Condor.
He's not
go
there.
Ahead, go ahead,
Let me tell you something.
So what I wanted to say
was
was
Alan. Go ahead, Alan. I'll pass it back to you, brother.
I see where Brandon's coming from with his analogy, but I think a better analogy would be a better thing to say was that us voting Democrat, and I was part of this, is part of a social contagion. I think that's a better way of putting it, because it's something we do out of tradition, and we don't even know why we're doing it. We're just doing it because somebody else did it. Sort of like how you have a lot of these kids now who are buying into the pronoun thing and buying into the whole gender thing. They call it a social contagion. I think that is a good reflection of what Black people's voting patterns have been over the past 60 years.
No, Alan, what you want to do is remove accountability from the equation by saying that you voting retarded due to osmosis. Oh, just because the person next to me
osmosis.
did it, I had to do it. Yeah, you did. A contagion is passed by osmosis. Like, come on, bro.
No. A social contagiation can be
come on, man. Y'all are way smarter than me. Y'all make yourself look bad trying to defend these fucked up positions.
A social contagion is basically a group, a form of group think where everybody kind of does one thing based, and it kind of is like a social phenomenon. I'm not saying that people are removing accountability for it. I take full accountability. I come up here and let you beat up on me, don't I?
No, I ain't beating up on you. I'm not picking on you, and I'm not beating on you. I'm telling you what you know. You know better.
I do know better now.
I'm doing the equivalent of, your mama raised you better than that. That's what I'm doing. I'm just telling you what you already know. I'm not beating up on anybody. Let me tell you something. The Republican Party, my party, I'm a Republican, is the only party I see right now that actually holds each other accountable. Republicans will divide the party up in a split second over damn near nothing. You saw how quick we got Kevin McCarthy's ass up out of there? I respect that. You got dudes like Josh Hawley. You got dudes like Tim Scott. You got dudes like Rand Paul. There are Republicans people within the Republican ranks who stand up for what's right. You don't have that in the Democrat Party. That's why when you say two wings of the same bird, you're just being disingenuous.
No.
Wait,
Mitt Romney, a number of prominent Republicans stated that Trump was bad for the party. When they realized he was going to win the election, all of a sudden they said he's the best thing that ever happened. Republicans act like all other politicians. They're no different. A good example would be when what's your boy that was the running back, Herschel Marshall. This guy had a dumpster fire of a campaign, but people were still behind him. People were still behind him. So I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous.
Why do you have to filibuster?
I'm not filibustering. I'm providing factual information
because it was dishonest, fake pimp preacher who beat up on his wife. But you're praising him, talking about Herschel.
Who you talking about?
Warnock.
Who?
Raphael Warnock, the guy
What about
running
him?
against Herschel
Well,
Walker.
first off, I saw the video. He didn't put his hands on his wife.
Man, he put his
She
hands
made a
on her.
false accusation that
Man,
he ran
tried
over
to
her
run her
foot.
over with
He
the
made a
car.
He actually paramedics
Brad,
showed
listen,
him
I don't
and
believe it's
there was
false.
no harm to
I
her
don't
body
believe it's
whatsoever.
Let me say this, Dynas. Look at my girl Carrie Lake, Republican, running as a Republican. They tried to offer her millions to fall in line with the bullshit.
Right. Tim Scott, who
She
said
said,
slavery was a good thing.
listen,
Right. He's a Republican.
Dynas, all I'm saying is I feel confident voting for Republicans because I know that there are Republicans within the ranks of that party who have integrity, who stand up for what's right. I can't say the same for Democrats.
Right, just like the former governor of South Carolina saying America is a racist. Right.
When I listen to Carrie Lake, a prominent figure in the Republican Party, turn down millions of dollars for the sake of serving the American people, the American voters of Arizona with integrity, I said that's a good one.
Her personal values are not representative of the party as a whole.
When I listen to people like Josh Hawley holding people accountable, when I listen to people like Rand Paul holding Anthony Fauci accountable, when I listen to somebody like Donald Trump, guys, Donald Trump's been investigated more than any human being in history. The fact that guy came out of that shit clean.
Hold on. So wait, you talk about Raphael Warnock being a woman beater, but this guy is married, going around paying women to have sex with him and committing adultery. Stop
What's
it.
wrong with that?
You
just said the moral. Wait, no,
wait. You gotta pay for pussy. Fuck out of dating with this bullshit. If you believe in a party of morals and values, you believe in morals and values. He gotta pay just to get something and cheat on his wife. Stop it.
First of all, we're gonna listen.
Get the fuck out of dating with that bullshit. He probably like that because he got to pay for something. That's what it is.
We're gonna put the shucking and jiving to the side real quick, and I'm gonna point out another hypocritical statement this guy Lumumba just made.
All right, let him talk, Lumumba.
Don't interrupt me. He just said that Carrie Lake's moral integrity is not a reflection of the party.
That's what I said.
He's now in the opposite direction. He's saying that Donald Trump's moral judgment is a reflection of the party.
I did not say that.
Yes,
I did not say it was a reflection of the party. I never said that.
You just
I said it because you are a fan. You are a acolyte of Trump. I never said that Donald Trump's personal behavior was a reflection of the Republican Party. That's an outright lie.
My daughter says she
that is an outright lie. I never said that. I never said that.
Something real quick.
What Brandon's saying? Did you go to Ohio? Because that's a hypocrisy.
Well, he went to Ohio State, so you got a point, Brad. He went to Ohio State.
First off, put some respect. It's the Ohio State University. And don't make me go back in time and pull up that picture of you in the fetal position doing the game, sucking your thumb, looking like you was
whoa.
Because you was looking real shook.
Whoa. Nobody was no.
Well, I mean, you damn this, but hold on, real quick, Dynas, were you or were you not in the fetal position doing that game?
I was on the ground.
Yes, you were.
It was losing, but I was in the fetal position.
You were scared. You were looking scary as hell.
I was scared, but we still won.
Literally.
But we still won.
Yeah, you were looking scary. So you just keep your butt to you.
Who won the game?
It's the Ohio State University.
Who won the game?
Go right ahead.
Okay, go ahead, Alan. And
so basically,
Alan Mesquicano. Go ahead, Alan.
Okay. What Brandon's saying has wholesome truth to it, because what I'm seeing in politics right now, and the reason why I'm even considering maybe voting for Trump, is I'm seeing that the Democrats and Republicans have become the uniparty, and then there's MAGA, and so those are separate. Those are two separate things. We're seeing Democrats becoming more and more like neocons every day, especially with this administration. And so that's what's repulsed me. It reminds me of the whole George Bush era. And I'm just wondering, when did the Democrats become the war hawks? You know, we're bombing all over the world. We're doing all kinds of things. And it seems like the only person in office, brother. And it seems like the only person who has a political background would.
That's American policy, because America has an imperialistic government. So irrespective of what administration is in office, what party is in the Oval Office.
But the only administration that doesn't do that. But I had to come to the realization.
Real quick.
You gotta let him finish.
But I had to come to the realization.
An article showing that a U.S. military aggression in Africa increased during the what? Trump administration.
This is the Dinah Samir Search for Uhuru show.
Yeah,
tell me that.
So I had to come to the realization that at the end of the day, that what's happening now in politics, it seems like you either have to vote for the uniparty, which is the Democrats, Republicans, or you got to go MAGA, or you got to go independent.
Wait, Dinus, can I just say this real quick?
Let me try to pass the Messi-Condo. You there?
He's not here.
Everybody can hear me.
Yeah, he's there. Go ahead, Messi-Condo. Go ahead.
Oh, hey, Dinus, thank you for having me back on your show again. It's always
okay. Good.
He's back. Go ahead, Messi-Condo.
So I just wanted to come back to present events and remind everyone that I told you all this immigration stuff was going to happen, and it's happening in front of our eyes. And it's so brazen that I mean the elite agenda is really clear. It's not really about underclass. It's about wiping out every underclass. So, I mean, as everyone's complaining about the rent and we're drowning in immigrants, how does that make any sense at all? I mean, they really want us to have squid games amongst each other, fighting for every habitable space. Because
they want to bring in Mexicans because Mexicans like to live 20 people to a 2-bedroom apartment. That solves the problem. They don't complain.
Hold on. What about Messi-Condo? Is that true what he just said? Is that true? You're Mexican. Is that true what he just said?
Well, I think that's every immigrant group that comes here, they try to maximize resources, and when you think about where they come from, it makes total sense for them to live, with a high density to make it here. And
I live in Los Angeles.
Brad, let him finish. Brad, let him finish. Go ahead, Messi-Condo.
But then that becomes the norm for everybody because everybody has to do the same just to survive. So that's
to compete.
All right, but here's some of this. In some states, they created laws preventing people from living more than two to a bedroom. So in Ohio, there was a law created to where they're going to be 6 people in a rental unit or home. Like they actually created a law to actually fight against, immigrants going to be in 20 to a house.
Well, Lumumba, if I get a job, Lumumba, they technically have the same laws in LA. They just don't.
Oh, they do. They just don't enforce them. Okay.
It's not about the laws being on the books. It's about the laws being enforced.
Right.
And what happens is there becomes a competition. If a Hispanic is used to living 10 people to a 1-bedroom apartment, like there's Kenyans. I'm in Kenya right now. There's Kenyans who live in a 1 room, and it's like 5, 6, 8 people living in there. But what does that do? That makes it hard to compete because they don't have to deal with rising housing costs. While you do, if you want to retain some form of dignity, you now got to say, well, grandma, you go ahead and move on in, and auntie and uncle and everybody move on in. Dinus, let me just make this quick point before it's lost. What I want to highlight to everyone, because I want you all to vote Republican this presidential election, is there's a characteristic of the Republican Party, the party of Abraham Lincoln, where whenever something is unconstitutional or our government moves in a direction that defies the Constitution, there is always a split within the Republican Party of the people who are constitutionalists, who stand by the Constitution and want to do what's right based on the Constitution, the law of this land. Remember the Tea Party movement? Now you have the MAGA movement. I like the Republican Party because when people try to do bull crap in the Republican Party, the Republican Party splits along constitutional lines. Look at your Supreme Court. The only thing standing between you and absolute tyranny at this point is your overwhelmingly conservative Supreme Court. So what I want to tell you is conservatives are saving this country at this point. They might not be the great white, they might not be the perfect choice, but they at this point are your best choice. And if you're a real man or a real woman who thinks with your mind is objective, you have to admit that. Trump is not the prettiest choice, but Trump is the best choice based on what we have.
All right, let me provide a retort very quickly. So one thing when people talk about the Constitution, I'm not a constitutionalist. Why? Because the Constitution still says Black people are 3/5 of a human being. And according to some of the most brilliant political minds of the day, what we find is that the Constitution actually was a document that was supported and promoted by the slaveocracy, right? So, and we know that the Constitution was based on the benefits and the wealth and the protection of white land owning males. So when people start talking about the Constitution, I know that to a further most extent does not benefit African people here in America.
And what does black people being
All right, well, Brandon, let me pass it to somebody else. Y'all,
just Dinus, please let me ask you one question.
No, bro, I want to pass it to somebody else. Y'all keep going back and forth. Y'all keep going back and forth. Mexiconder, then I'll pass to America's First Rifleman. Mexiconder, you got anything else to add?
Yeah, well, actually, I'm curious to know what the sentiment is in the African American community. So I keep hearing 20% are.
Oh Lord Jesus.
Well, I see some of the comments. They said that I want to throw away 1% of the Constitution because of 1% of it. None of it applies to us. I mean, this is a reality.
All right, Mexicano, finish.
And we could go over the history of that, but the laws in this land have never applied to African people.
Okay, he keeps dropping on and off. Go ahead, AFR. Go ahead.
Wow, can you hear me?
Hear you loud and clear.
All right. What's up, y'all? Okay, on this voting thing. Okay. I'm an issues-based voter. I'll say it 1,000 times. A lot of us that are pragmatic, like Dinus and Brandon and all that, we're more discerning when it comes to policies and how they benefit us as individuals and as a collective. So if I'm an 18-year-old voter in like a place like, I don't know, like Illinois or something like that, or New York, and I come to Lumumba, and I'm like, should I vote Democrat or Republican? What are you going to tell me?
Are you asking me a question?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I would tell you that you need to look at, first and foremost, each candidate who's on the ballot and do their policies or potential policies and initiatives benefit your community. That's what I would tell you, irrespective of their party.
Okay, so would you tell them to vote Democrat or Republican?
I don't tell people to vote based on political party. I tell people to vote based on the policies of the candidates who are running.
Okay, good, cool. Say if they came to you talking about white supremacy is a problem, which political party would you say to vote for?
I never tell anyone to vote for a political
But just humor me, please. Humor me.
I can't, because I've never done that ever in my life. Ever.
Oh Lord Jesus. Okay.
Like, literally,
Okay.
I'm not lying to you.
I got you. Okay, I got you, Lumumba. You won't answer the question.
No, I'm telling you the truth. I've never done that.
I got you. Understand. I'm respecting your wishes and stuff like that. So I'm not attacking you. So here's the deal. When black people come with particular issues, they are very much hypocritical. If somebody says, say Lumumba said vote Democrat or something like that, and I would counter that and say, you're not serious. You know why? Because if you were scared of white supremacy, number one is you need a way to defend yourself. And
I would
what
never
party?
tell somebody to vote Democrat. I would never tell somebody to vote Republican. I would tell somebody to vote for the candidate.
Okay, listen, hold on. Okay, Lumumba, let me finish, sir. The reason why I would tell somebody to vote Democrat if they came to me talking about white supremacy being a problem is because there's actually one actual party that's empowering you as an individual and a family to be able to physically defend yourself. And also the tyranny part that they like to harp on too, if the government becomes too tyrannical, so you can resist in that way as well. So the Democrats want you to just do what the government tells you to do. So that in of itself, is a vote for a Republican. So that's what I'm saying. Like when black people come with particular issues, like I said, I'm an issues-based voter. So when black people, and if you're objective and you're being actually honest, that would be a better vote. I'm not going to say there's no racist people that are Republicans, or you're not going to see visual stuff that's going to upset you as a black person. I'm not going to say that. But at the end of the day, they're not trying to take the Bill of Rights away from you. So that's what I say to that. So that's why Lumumba, you have to suggest, Lumumba, you have to start suggesting these things towards our people.
Well, actually,
having these types of conversations.
I tell people that politics is the business of who gets what, when, where, and how. So I tell people all the time, you need to look at what politician and what policies they are promoting that will benefit your community tangibly. That's what I do on a daily basis since 2005. I've never told anyone to vote for a particular party. I tell people you need to
And
look
that's
at
the problem,
politics.
sir. That's the
You need to look
problem.
at,
You're a
no, and
fence sitter, bro.
I'm gonna
You're
give
a
you an
fence
example.
sitter.
Hold on, no, I'm not. No, I vote
direction.
based on the policy of the politician. So, for example, there was a situation in Ohio. This is back before I turned 18, to where there was a politician who wanted to remove funding, like Pell Grants and stuff in the state of Ohio. So I said, hey, based on the fact that I'm about to go to college, this is someone I would vote for, and that person was a Democrat. So I have to look at the policies of the politician. I'm not going to just vote based on the person's party.
I got you. Lumumba. Real quick, Brandon, real quick, and I'll be real quick. If I look at the people that poll black people, they professionally do this. People get millions and billions of dollars to do this. The top 3 issues that affect black people, if they were like inflation's a problem, immigration's a problem, and also white supremacy or my right to defend myself and my family. Those three issues, you have to tell somebody to vote Republican. You have to.
Listen, what you have to understand, AFR, is black people suffer from something called cognitive dissonance and hypocrisy. Lumumba just showed you when it's on an individual level where it's something that hurts or benefits him, he's happy with voting against a Democrat. But when it comes to our community and it does not directly affect him, hey man, we voting Democrat all day.
I've never said that, and I don't vote Democrat.
Listen,
I vote every presidential election. Every election since I was old enough to vote, I vote based on the issues that the politicians are promoting. I've never voted based on a person's political party ever in my life since I was 18 years old.
And here's the issue. Black people are so afraid of white supremacy, the KKK, that they vote against being able to even have guns to defend themselves from the KKK. Oh, we just want the police to have guns, while at the same time saying that the police are infiltrated by the KKK. That's the problem here. You just got a bunch of niggas sitting up doing double speak and fence hustling, fence straddling and fence sitting, trying to come down on whichever side sounds the best at the time, not for their own benefit. When it is black people, when it is individual, a black dynast, let me tell you something. There was a guy, I'm not going to say his name. He brought up the fact that the Constitution say we 3/5 of a person, right? That has nothing to do with anything right now.
Is he on his panel? Is he on his panel?
Yes, he does. Because the Constitution doesn't apply to black people. We see this over and over again where black people's rights are denied on a daily basis in America. Irrespective if you are in a municipality or state government that is Republican or Democrat.
I'm going to say an undeniable truth right now, an undeniable fact, and I'm going to be done. If you offer these niggas reparations in the form of $1 million per head and say the only thing you got to agree to, you got to sign a contract that say you're going to be 1/5 of a nigga, not 1/5 of a man. You're going to be 1/5 of the 3/5 that black people are now, but you're going to get $1 million in return. Every black person in America that's not a millionaire right now will gladly sign that paper.
I don't believe
and
it.
go down to be 1/5 of a Negro in exchange for some money.
I don't
Black
believe it.
people are bought and sold still like they're on an auction block. The only difference is they are selling
Lumumba, you know how many of your cousins are going to sign up for that?
Bruh,
nobody I associate with.
They'll be
Nobody
like,
that I associate with.
They will
do
ask,
that.
can they
That's
be
what I
looked at
can
as
say.
less of a man for more money?
Okay,
They
hold
will
on.
ask-
All right, let me do this. Let me pass it to Alan. Then after Alan, I'm gonna pass it to Philip because Philip's away. Go ahead, Alan. If you got anything you want to say.
Okay. Yeah, I just feel like I'm an independent. I became an independent in 2016.
I'm registered as an independent.
I'm registered as an independent as well. So I'm not a Democrat anymore.
Man,
What
y'all
I do
Democrats, stop lying.
No, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not registered as a Democrat. I do have regret, not necessarily for the national election, but I feel I have a degree of regret, and this is me being fully transparent, for not voting for some of the Republicans locally. I feel like Governor Hogan was a good governor here in Maryland. He was anti-Trump, but he was a Republican, and I could have voted for him. He did a fine job, but I didn't. And what I had to struggle with is, why did I do that? And the conclusion I have is that, I was mindlessly voting. And so then I decided that I needed to become an independent and take more time to actually, stop this blue no matter who nonsense, and actually and actually think about who it is I'm voting for. As far as Trump is concerned, as I was trying to say before, we live in a society where we have a uniparty. We have the Democrats and Republicans are doing a lot of the same policies. And what I'm seeing now is that the only alternative to that is Donald Trump. And so that leaves me in a really weird place of trying to figure out who do I vote for and why. And so that's what you're hearing. So if you call me a fence straddler, I probably will have to accept that.
It seems like that would make the decision easier.
Well, I'm kind of giving hints as to where I'm leaning towards, but I'm still struggling with it, and I'm trying to give as much thought to it as possible.
All right, let me pass it. Go ahead, Philip.
Morning, guys. I didn't intend to come in here, but yet again, Dinas, you've brought a topic that I had to come in. How you doing, Brandon and Lumumba and American First Rifleman and Alan? It's good to see you guys.
Yeah, good to see you too, man.
My question, or which I have, it's rhetorical, but I'm gonna pose it first to the panel, and then kind of take my position. Do you think, as individual voters, that your vote as a Black person affects the policy that Black people receive? Yes or no?
No.
Oh, I think the question would be, are we talking about a local, state, or national level?
Let's start national. Do you think, as a Black person, that your vote affects the treatment that Black Americans receive?
Not at all.
I'm going to say with Trump, looking at during Trump's years in office versus now under Biden, I'm going to say yes.
I would say no, because we saw an uptick. Just speaking to the Trump situation, we saw a rise in military aggression on the African continent against African people during the Trump administration.
I would say yes. Domestically, it was an improvement.
That would be, and Dinah, I sent you an article on Facebook a couple of times. I don't know if you ever read it, but we saw a uptick in military aggression against African people on the African continent in the Trump administration. So that would be an example of no.
Which source you have for that?
Compared to who?
The previous administration, Obama.
Well, are you talking about the U.S. military? Hold on. Let me get this.
This is not conjecture.
No, hold on. I just want to level with you. Are you talking about the U.S. military is actively engaging African people on the continent?
Yes.
Where is this happening?
Yes, in a number. I would actually, let me see if I could grab I got the article right here. Can you allow me to post this in the chat?
Or you can share it. I'll pull it up.
Okay, let me share. Is that possible?
Yes,
let me see if I can post it in the chat, and you said you can pull it up.
Oh yeah, just share it. Share it, present it, and then I'll pull it up.
Okay, let me go to present. Share screen.
So hold on. When you say uptick, you mean more activities?
Yes.
Under Trump?
Yes. Hold on.
And what is attributed to that? What's the reason for that? Why would Trump be any more interventionist in Africa than
one of the people, and you can make the argument that this started with the Obama administration. There was someone in the chat who mentioned that Obama was a Trojan horse. And there are many individuals that make the argument that Obama's election was to then make a black face for the government. So when they was engaging in neo-colonial actions in Africa, it wouldn't be considered racism.
That is my point. That's where I would fall.
Yes, many argue this is a continuation of it, but there's been an uptick in the Obama administration because they're seeking to lessen their dependence on foreign oil in the Middle East.
Yeah. But when you say uptick, what is that? So, for example,
Obama, what that means?
Yeah. Hold on. Okay, so Obama, Libya, assassination of Gaddafi,
yes,
whatnot. So when you say uptick, like, what does that mean?
Yes, there's been a rise.
But what does that mean? Like, is that state-sanctioned coups, assassination of leaders like Gaddafi under Obama? Like, what does that mean?
Right. Well, in terms of actual military actions, and in terms of engaging African people in military action. That's
Come
what
on,
we're
that's
saying.
vague and
Can you
abstract.
quantify
Come
that?
on, man.
Yeah,
Listen to me, bro.
that sounds vague.
Can you, hold on.
Vague
Can
as
you
hell,
give us,
man.
hold on,
Come on.
Lumumba, can you give us a country, a time, a place?
I sent you the
No,
article
Lumumba,
3
give
times
us,
on
give us
Facebook.
an example, sir. A time, a place, a conflict.
Hold on, I sent you the article 3 times on Facebook.
You
Dennis. I don't
can give us a quick example, sir.
Or
All right,
some
let me pull this back
numbers, some data.
up. Oh, snap. I gotta go to present.
Yeah, go ahead, just really quickly. We know you like to talk, Lumumba, so talk some more.
Okay, while he's looking this up, I wanted to follow this up with, I posted in the chat, in the back chat, they've studied this already at Northwestern University, and they show that American politicians generally do not respond to public opinion, that they respond to their donors. Now, I raised that to raise the point of where I think we as Black people get off track. All of our problems, in my view, are centered around money. Money is at the core of all of them. Yet, we spend infinite amounts of time talking about politics. Now, if you understand that American politics, if you believe that the study that has been cited to you and that was done at Northwestern University, which was a reputable university, that American politicians, Democrat and Republican, respond to money, and we are not focused on money, then why do we think our vote will change the policy towards us?
Because whichever party have the economic policies that would foster greater community peace and entrepreneurship, that will foster greater wealth creation among Black people, that would be the party that we should have supported.
But if you don't have any money, then they have no obligation, because
no,
they don't feel the pressure.
Respond. No, they don't just
have
they
the
don't
ability.
just.
Okay, I'll let you respond, Kofi. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say that they don't just respond to donors, because you have other issues, whether it's abortion, whether it's crime and so forth, that they have to respond to. They respond to the donors because yes, they want money, but they also respond to issues that the voter care about passionately because they want the votes. So they juggle the two. It's not really exclusive, not really one versus the other. It's two of them, and it's how organized a certain group is, or a certain interest group is, that they see their policies get through, so to speak. I mean, it's not either or, in my view.
Okay, so you raised this issue about social issues and how they have to respond to people's pressure on social issues. I would argue that part of the function of political parties is to come up with issues that split people in a way that supports your party. So you've got to come up with a series of things that will get your people to come and support you and not support the other party. Otherwise, there's no difference between you and the other party. It's just a function of the system that's created. But what I'm going to say is that is a reflection of how many people they think are in that split. So it doesn't really matter what the issue is, they can come up with an issue as long as it splits people. And what I would argue is, in the case of Black Americans, we are constantly split along social and class and economic lines by these types of issues, rather than focusing on the primary thing that imprisons us, which is money. Money. And our inability to
money
work
also
with
free you.
Hold on. And our inability to work with the continent and countries we came from. This delusion that America will serve us in the same way that it serves the European immigrants. It does not. It has not. It will not. So if you believe that, which I fundamentally believe it, then why are we spending time saying that this plantation owner in the Republican Party is better than the other plantation owner in the Democratic Party?
Based on policies and outcomes. Based on policies and outcomes.
But you don't affect the outcome.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Or they wouldn't go to the church and try to convince the black church to vote. They wouldn't try to control
No,
the
they're simply seeking your vote so they can become elected.
Right. So you
I'm
do
just
have
saying,
power. It's not absolute. It's not omnipotent, but it is.
There's a
it
great
is
book
power.
titled American Society, how it really works. And it talks about how American politics actually operates. Both political parties are funded by the same special interest groups and lobbyists. What you see on television is wrestling. It's a stage act behind closed doors that all agree. A good example of this was Trump, when he became the Republican
Lumumba.
That can't be an act. Their opposition to Trump can't be an act. That's real.
Politics.
I will postulate this.
Can I say something after you, Phil?
Yeah, you can. I'm. It's a dialogue, but
Yeah,
I just want
absolutely.
to. I want to move this.
AR, if you're next.
All I'm going to say is this: I'm of the opinion that Trump will probably be reelected, primarily because
I think so.
We have somebody running on the Democratic side that is looking like they have some mental faculty issues.
Facts.
Regardless to whether he's elected or not, the condition on the issues that affect Black people will not change. They will not change because
But they have changed before. Things got better before.
No, they only got better when Black people, being Black Americans, had leverage to affect the economy in a way that they had to listen. Prior to that,
how do you get leverage?
Prior to 1967,
in a democracy.
Let me tell you, prior to 1967, Black people dominated two areas of labor in the United States. They dominated farm work or agricultural work, and they dominated domestic labor. And during the civil rights effort, what those protests and marches and all of that, those were just a show of force to say to the government and the corporations that run this country that if we want to, we can shut down this agricultural work. We can shut down the South. And because of that, we got changes. But then
changes was before that. Black people, Black poverty rate was falling before the civil rights movement.
What are you saying?
The Black middle class was growing before the civil rights movement.
Yes,
it's not
true.
true.
You know why
it's not true that the civil rights.
Do you know why it was growing?
Yeah, because we took advantage of opportunities available.
We were one of the most skilled group of people in the country coming out of slavery.
Right.
So we were more skilled. We were more skilled than the European immigrants that came.
And we gave it up.
So things got better then.
Wait, let me finish. That's why they lynched us and ran us off and rioted for 100 years, from 1867 to 1967. Okay, I'll end there.
Well, let me pass. I got to pass to the ARF first.
Okay, and then can I come in at the ARF?
Yeah, right, and then I pass it to Kofi. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
I mean AFR. I'm tripping. Go ahead.
Hey, you straight. Look, what Philip was saying earlier, two white men did a study. I don't know if it was Columbia or whatever, and it was you can say groundbreaking study or whatever, where they said since money has gotten into politics, the want of the everyday people have gone silent because the priority of the politicians was bought and paid for, and that's what they have been doing. Largely, that is true. But yes, if people have particular issues, like right now, we know the rich capitalistic people, whether they be Republican or Democrat, want cheap labor. We know that.
But guess what? Right now, there's a civil war inside the Democratic Party and the Republican Party where they're not getting those carve outs and those cutouts that they're used to getting to facilitate the invasion into this country. So, by and large, Kofi is right as well. You guys all have definite parts that are correct, but Kofi, at the end of the day, is correct. If you mobilize and your politician knows I have to say this in front of the cameras or push this agenda, I'm out of office. And at the end of the day, that still matters. If angry people show up at these people's spots, that matters, or they got to start putting that into the calculus instead of just their donors. If nobody's yelling and screaming at these people, of course they're going to do what their donors are. So at the end of the day, this is an ailment of the people. So at the end of the day, Black people, if you, like I said, we've been saying up and down, like Lumumba and Phil, I respect you and I love you, Phil, and you are smart in so many other ways, and I shut up and I always listen to you. But at the end of the day, we like to overcomplicate real simple stuff. Lumumba's gonna try to give you a newsletter about scary this and try to hold on. Let me finish. I'm about to land the plane. I'm not attacking you. Just try to listen to what I'm saying. So there's all these folks that are very smart and educated that'll throw all these things and all this info at you. But at the end of the day, if you are not either directly funding your politician or standing in their offices, at the end of the day, they are not going to listen to you, Black people. So all this crying and yelling about white supremacy and what they did in 1865 and how they did this ain't gonna matter if you sit on your ass on the internet and you're like my congressperson, my congresswoman knows my name. My county commissioner knows. That's what I'm saying. But that's what we're in the minority. That's the problem.
Can I speak?
And so yeah, and I'm about to land.
I got to pass the Kofi. Did I?
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, I'll land the plane. So yeah, I'll land the plane.
Go ahead.
So can I jump in?
Let me pass the Kofi. I'll pass it to you. Go ahead, Kofi.
All right, respect. In terms of money and politics, money is always going to be in politics, especially in a democratic system where if the government is going to be into the economy a lot in terms of regulations and so forth, then business people are going to want to influence how those regulations go. So if you're going to have a government that regulates and taxes a lot, then people are going to spend money to have the government tax their competition and regulate their competition and not them. So that's always going to be in there if you're going to have lots of regulation, which is what Democrats and socialists always want. In terms of influence, like I said, either side don't have omnipotent power, right? The lobbies don't have that power, and the voters don't have that power. But it's how both of them interact and how you pressure the politicians to respond. But the problem in the Black community is that the politicians already have the so-called leaders, whether in the church or in the street corner or what's it called, the race hustlers, right? They already have them in the pocket. So
they have paid them off for the most part.
Right. And unfortunately, Black people, the history of Black people in America is like follow the leader. When the Republican Party emancipated the slaves, we were supposed to be the party of Lincoln, and nothing would change that until FDR came and flipped the switch and started to offer Black people state things and convince them that the state is going to be their savior. And then we threw away Booker T. Washington, and then we embrace people like Martin Luther King and Du Bois, who favor a lot more state intervention and control in our lives. So instead of being slaves to the Republican Party back then, we're now slaves to the Democratic Party. So therefore, I mean, it's gonna take another shift, like in the 1930s under FDR, to really move Black people away from the Democratic Party. Maybe Trump is it, right? And that's why Democrats and the establishment are so hysterical about Trump, because maybe this is another 1930s moment where you're going to see a seismic shift in terms of allegiance of Black people to back to the Republican Party, which is not perfect, but is that a lot better than what exists now?
Okay.
Can I move
so real
move it
quick?
forward? Oh, all right, Lumumba, go ahead. You've been waiting.
Real quick. And this is a response to AFR, and then I'm going to share the information that I did when I made that claim about Trump. It took me a minute to find the information. One, I don't come on the show talking about white supremacy. I don't move that way. I'm not a fear-based man. That's not something I teach to my children. So that what you're trying to infer, that's not the way I move or how I get down. Number one. So I don't do that. Well, white supremacy, that's not the way I operate. I operate in a very pragmatic manner in terms of looking at what is in the best interest of our people, particularly in terms of politics regarding who gets what, when, where, and how. Number two, Adonis, you can let me share my screen because I want to bring this up and I want everyone to see this so they can see I'm not just bloviating or making something up, right? So here we go. This is the article that I sent to you, Adonis, a couple times. Trump's endless wars. We know Trump loved to talk about ending the endless U.S. wars that he inherited as president. He tweets about it. He endlessly criticizes his predecessors for their martial mistakes. However, as we see here, I need to scroll down. By March 2019, Trump has launched more drone strikes than Obama did in his 2 terms of office. Right, counterinsurgency campaigns in Africa. Trump has ordered a 10% cut in forces on the continent by 2022, but the total forces under the Africa Command actually went up by more than double that amount from 2017 to 2018. So these were the examples I was talking about in terms of increasing military aggression on the African continent. And this is an example.
Aggression or presence?
Both. I just showed you that the number of drone strikes are in 2 years are twice the amount of Obama's in 8 years.
On the continent, in Africa.
Yes.
They don't. No, it didn't say that in Africa.
Yes, it did.
Pull it back up. Pull it back up. Pull it back up.
So is it less now?
Pull it back up. Pull it back up. Pull it back up.
All right, hold on. I gotta go back to share. Hit share. Okay. Present. I gotta hit present share screen.
Is it less strikes under Biden, and why would it be less
American
strikes?
Wars by 2019, Trump.
Here we
So
go.
in
Okay.
2019, he had been in office for 3 years. Trump had launched more drone strikes, 2,243, than Obama did in his 2 terms in office,
It
1,878.
doesn't say in Africa, though. It doesn't say in Africa. It doesn't say specifically in Africa.
Okay.
Well, also, can I say something? Also, too, the Department of Defense, and the generals literally actively lied to the president about troop presence in Syria and other countries. They actively did illegal stuff. So he probably didn't even know. Hold on. He probably didn't even know. Hold on. He probably didn't even know, sir. He probably didn't even know or authorize a whole bunch of that.
So I'm gonna say this: he's the commander-in-chief in the military. As someone who served 6 years in the Ohio Army National Guard,
I literally just told you it was found out that generals lied to the president while in office about troop presence in Syria.
This is the question I would ask,
and nobody went to jail.
Hold on. And the question I would ask is: if these people lied and he was made aware that they lied to him, then what were the consequences?
Do you know that the Department of Defense?
What were the consequences?
Oh my God! So are you saying
what were the consequences?
So you saying Are you saying the Department of Defense, the military, would not lie to the civilian leaders?
What I'm asking the question is: they lied to the commander-in-chief, and what did the commander-in-chief do to his subordinates when he found that they lied to him? What were the consequences?
He literally told them to withdraw from Syria. And they withdrew some, and they lied about that because there were literally like 400 or 500 people when they were telling everybody publicly. It was like 99.
And what were the consequences for lying?
Okay, so you're just playing. You're playing games.
No, I'm not. I'm just asking the question. What were the
You're
consequences?
playing. Okay, so you're trying to blame Trump. You're trying to blame Trump for the uptick in activity. This activity that you won't be specific about in Africa.
Once again, I just pulled up
so you're trying to put it on Trump. You're trying to put it on Trump, and I understand. But the thing about it has been very vague, and like I told you, there's been instances of him being actively lied to and deceived about these very things. So he probably didn't even authorize.
They don't respect him as a leader.
Oh my God. Okay, so what does that have to? Okay, so see, you're proving my point. You're proving my point.
That's the reality. I was in the military. If I'm lying,
me too, sir. I was in for 10 years, sir.
I was in the military.
Can I say something? can I say that both of you guys are right? American First Rifleman and Kofi, you raised a good point about the power of populism. My point to all of you guys is we get divided in, favoring one plantation over another plantation and not seeing the big picture, which is if these people, let's say Trump was a godsend and wanted to set up a program or whatever for Black people right now, do you realize that economically we aren't prepared to hold the money within our community at all? We don't have the infrastructure. In the case of what Lumumba was talking about military interventionism and so on, the Africans themselves struggle to have the ability to resist because they don't have any deterrent from military strikes. The only thing that I'm seeing now is that the countries that had the coups are now looking to try to get nuclear weapons. But because they don't have nuclear weapons, nor do they produce their own weapons themselves, and I know some people from Nigeria are going to tell me that Nigeria is producing guns, and I will respond to that by saying Nigeria is licensing the right to make guns. They are not using their own intellectual property to make their own guns. So the problem I'm getting at is it all comes back to money. That I'm not saying that it isn't entertaining or something that you shouldn't think about at all, to think about what the parties are saying. But I will say this, and I put this in the chat and I've said this before, the small hats, the Saudis, and the Asians all have less people in this country than Black Americans by a lot. And those three groups have more influence on our elections, we're looking at it right now, than Black people. So if they don't care which party is in office because they fund both, then why would we care? That you literally have groups that are minuscule compared to us, and that you don't see them arguing and getting on TV and going back and forth about party like we do. And it's because they understand it's about the money, not about cheering for plantation.
Can I interject just real quick to that?
No, I'm
just
fine.
really quick. Okay, you are correct. Okay, but the biggest thing is you just said this power and populism. Instead of saying, we're arguing about which plantation, we're arguing about actual issues. So Black Americans with our numbers could literally be a part of the biggest anti-war movement in America, besides just white people and other demographics that could literally stop and paralyze politically military ambitions or adventurism in this country. So like I said, if we were serious as a people, we could get this done. But we aren't. That's the main thing. Money is there, but there are other tools at our disposal that we refuse to use as a collective. So that's why I'm like, at the end of the day, vote at the lower level issues and all that. Until then, we're not going to get together. So everything else is just mute, bro. It's a waste of time.
Well, therein, we all agree. What frustrates me is like Dynas has a tremendous channel and platform to encourage what we all need, which is all of us trying to work with Africa. I've heard what you've wanted to do, American First Rifleman, and Kofi, I assume you're trying to do things with Africa. I know Dynas is, to try to strengthen ourselves. But we get split amongst these political debates in a way that's unproductive. And I have been trying to say, look, first of all, I put it on the table and I stand by this. I don't think that there are Black Republicans and Black Democrats. It doesn't exist because we don't have full citizenship. What we have are Black are Black nationalists, which I would categorize, it sounds like all three of you guys are Black nationalists, and Black socialists. That's it. If you had to put Black people into categories, that's really what they are. And they're fusions. Some people are a little bit more nationalists than socialists. Some people are a little bit more socialists than nationalists. But neither one of them conform to the parties. And the reason why is because both parties agree that Black Americans should be a failure cast in this country. And they work on that actively.
Phil,
Yeah.
you're taking agency away from us. We, as a collective, have made decisions to make ourselves a part of the underclass. So we can't keep just saying, "Oh, they sold us down a river." At the lowest level, they do things that are anti-social. So I'm
I agree with
tired
that.
of the
I
blaming.
agree with that. I agree that we choose to be a failure too. But I agree that we embrace the worst elements of our culture coming out of slavery. I agree with all of that. I agree that we allow the lowest quarters of our culture to be broadcast globally as to who we are. I don't disagree with you, American First Rifleman. What I'm saying is the only way to fix it that I know is to focus on money and economics and to level ourselves up, which I know your story, American Rifleman. I've known you long enough now on these channels to know that you've been working on that the whole time. So you agree with me. It just is, I wish we would focus on what you're talking about in your business development and away from whether Daddy Trump or Daddy Biden is going to help us out. Because the reality is,
Daddy Trump might give me a grant or something or give me low taxes, and Daddy Biden's gonna regulate me out of business. So
but I would argue this: he's gonna do it because the Mzungus want him to do it or not because of something we're doing. It's because they are a larger group than us. They are 70%, and we're anywhere from 12 to 16%, depending on what. So the table that's been set has been set for the Mzungus, not for us, just by numbers. And so why would we spend our energy and time focusing on that?
Set their own table.
Well, we got to build our own table, which is what you're doing, and what Dynas is doing. We got to build our own table. Yeah, but once we build our own table, then we can talk about this in a way where we can leverage it. Once we work with our countries the way Dynas encourages. I mean, he's literally taking people to villages in Africa to try to reconnect us. Thank you, Dynas, for doing that.
Thank you.
This is the work that needs to be done so that we get a circular economy, so we will have leverage, so that we will have security, American First Rifleman. I know you've been working on security companies. We need that. We need that way more than we need Zaddy Trump to help us, or Zaddy.
Can I say something, Phil? Can I say something, Phil?
Yes,
I literally am a business-minded person, or just a diverse-minded person, where I will not talk about Republicans, Democrats, or whatever. If you're a Black person talking straight business, I'm down with it. But unfortunately, this socialist, grievance-minded, low-tier, just low IQ stuff ails a lot of our people, to where it'd be a detriment to yourself to work with these people. Like I said, I've tried 2 separate times to get 5 Black men to put in with me to start a security company out here. Now it's like they changed the laws to where it's not even worth it now. Now I'm really focused on, it's probably better to get agriculture or something like that, or IT or something like that focused or whatever. But like I said, I cannot find 5 just normal Black people to put in on. Instead of, like, the first thing they talk about is like white people. Like, literally, I'm talking about better, like so I'm just saying, like, small stuff like that literally like holds ourselves up from even getting started, and that's the problem I have.
Say something to you on this, because we've had that point, and it's a legitimate one. What I have said is start with your own family. If you can convince your own family.
They hate me too. They just
hold on.
They be on the panel. Okay, sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
No, this is crucial, brother. I want you to think about this. In order for us, the foundation of any community, any economic sharing, is the family. And we all know, all of us, that we each have problematic people in our families. We know that, okay? Big problematic people in our families. But that's the heavy lifting. If you can convince 1 or 2 people within your own family that have a reason to listen to you because you're blood related, to work with you, you have a much better chance of correcting this. If we all did that, then we could all move forward, because it would reflect, we would produce better Black people. The problem is that some Black families refuse to go and deal with the family members that they have that are way off the chain. They don't take responsibility for them. They throw that into the community. And because they do that, then all of us are trying to scramble and fix them. And it's not necessarily something that we can do as effectively as a member of their own family. But we don't want to do that because we know what a problem our cousin is, or our brother is, or our niece is. It's heavy, it's hard. But that's the actual work to fix it. Go ahead.
But remember, families don't exist in a vacuum. The policies in the community are going to affect family formation. Schools, I mean, if you have failing schools, that's going to affect the family too, because you're going to have a lot of unskilled family members who can't earn enough. And even when they're unskilled, based on the labor laws and the regulations in the community or in the state, it's going to affect them getting that first job to climb the ladder to success. You know what I mean? So these things, yes, you have responsibility, but remember, it's a democratic community, and policies are going to affect family structure and the community structure. And if you have policies that break up the family, if you have policies that create bad schools that don't educate students, but they're really prisons, violent prisons, and if you have communities where you can have normal social interaction, but it's just violence and chaos, then these things are going to affect the family, because the family don't exist in a vacuum. So therefore, you have to talk about policies, and you have to talk about who is saying, who have the better policy, or which party has the better policies.
Can I say
Not
something?
the perfect, but the better.
Can I say something, Brother Kofi? Because you brought up an excellent point, and I want to have, you are the perfect person to have this conversation with at this moment, which is this. It's an unfortunate reality that the Africans that were brought here in bondage and slavery were put in a situation where they're outnumbered by a dramatic number. And because of that, the policies that are dictated for the country are primarily dictated by groups outside of ourselves. However, I agree with American First Riflemen that we do have agency, but the agency is for me and Dynas and American First Riflemen to be working with you, Brother Kofi, and other Africans to get more control of our destiny. Because if we have nation states at our back, I'm not sure which nation you come from. Zimbabwe is on your moniker here, but I don't know if it's Nigeria or whatever. But if we had them at our back, well, you're from Jamaica. Okay, so there you go. So even the Afro-Caribbean, if we had supply chains going back and forth between the Caribbean and Black communities for goods and services, finished goods, we could improve because we could circulate that money, but we don't.
All right.
I don't mean to. Yes, sir.
I don't mean to cut you off. But this has been a staple narrative in the Black community, especially the Black conscious community, about having a strong nation that can back minorities in America, and that's how you move up the ladder of economic success. Remember, when China was dirt poor and insignificant, you had overseas Chinese in Asia and in America that were rising to the ranks through education and through entrepreneurship. So I know that this is a favorite talking point about we need a strong nation in Africa.
Thank you, Kofi. And I have something to say after you're done.
It going back to Garvey, right? Where you need a strong nation in Africa. And then we say that strong nation will give us the springboard to rise economically in the United States or in the diaspora but you have many different diaspora people that rise without a strong nation. The rise of any people in any country just have to do with, one, the internal culture of that people, and two, the policies that facilitate community development, better education, and better opportunities for entrepreneurship, right? So yes, African nations, the rise of African nations has to be a priority, but not because it will give us power to rise in America, but because of basic humanity. I mean, Africa have a lot of problems, and therefore, of course, we want them to be solved or fixed or addressed. But Black people have risen and can rise more, even with Africa in the state that it's in. Just like how overseas Chinese rise, even when China was insignificant or no more. It was only after China implemented market reform after Mao died that China became wealthier and now is in a much better position than it was under Mao in terms of being a superpower and not being able to, or not being vulnerable to American aggression, even though America is still trying to push its buttons. But I'm just saying that we can rise in America, but you need certain policies and you need certain cultural changes, which is sadly not coming from a Democratic Party.
And one thing I'll say, like Phil, and this comes from a lot of people that are very highly educated, like yourself. I've never spent one day in a college classroom. Okay. I'll give you an example, anecdotal example, but this literally, and to me, it's not anecdotal. I think it's playing out all over the country, to where how we respond to racism and how we've been mistreated in the past is, instead of having honors classes and honor student like we had before, they said, no, we're going to get rid of that because it's racist, because our kids are coming into the lowest percentiles.
I got another one for you. Like, I still don't understand how they could come up with this notion that the SAT is racist.
It's just an excuse so we don't have to do the work. It's like Kofi said, the Chinese and all these other minorities that were coming up into the ranks in America and they were doing the actual work and laying the infrastructures. So when their countries were coming through their globalist stages and rising up or whatever, they already had the infrastructure to where they can have synergy and interact with each other. But we've wasted a lot of political capital, a lot of political capital and a lot of actual capital and human capital on nothingness. We keep blaming the white man for everything that doesn't get done. But at the end of the day, we've seen examples of Black people achieving and doing the necessary thing, like starting schools where they're speaking Swahili and math and all that stuff, to where we as a collective just let it go because we wanted to follow other trends and other things and be close to the white people. And that's it. So that's what I'm saying. Like, Phil, like, I get what you're saying. Everything you talk about, like racism, how we we've been, brought down, and how we were screwed over. But at the end of the day, we don't operate like a people that's hungry for actual good outcomes and results as a collective. So that's why for the life of me, I just can't get behind a lot of this. And I'm not saying you, but like a lot of, like, when I start hearing people explain things about why things the way they are, it's just victimhood stuff, to where we have actual tangible examples of Black people achieving. So
I agree with you. If I may respond to what you're saying, or did you land or?
Well, like one quick thing. So at the end, when Dynas kind of came in San Francisco, they have the honors program, and so a lot of these highly educated Black folks that went through all these schools, that are educators by trade, and lawyers, get behind all this Marxist trash that say we need to disadvantage everybody, like, all those, because the best minds in math right now in all the highest schools are all Asian and Jewish as of right now. So white people and Black people are just going down and down and down when it comes to that. So what they're doing in these school districts are taking special the highly placed math, like the actual, like they're taking it away for like DEI and all this stuff. So pretty much they don't want people to say black kids are shitty at math. They suck at math. Black kids are actually stupid. They want to put all these things in place to where nobody can say, no, this black kid is actually is stupid as hell. Okay. And that's the problem. We are trying to, and I think it's racist in a way to where we can't foster an environment to have like high achieving, math achieving, like black kids. Now there's people in certain situations that like black people, I think that got maybe Montessori schools kind of going, but there's already models that work and we refuse to do it. That's what I'm saying. I'm done with the whole white man is putting a monkey in the wrench and we can't do it. As of right now, we actively are hurting ourselves and nobody wants to say it. It's our fault. Nobody wants to. I don't know about you, Dynas, but that's literally, nobody says it's our fault. Everybody wants to say, oh, this history. They'll bring up this history about how they did this. And how the white man did this.
I would say that's more on the left. Like, you know, Roland Martin and, you know, the professor at University of Howard. I can't think of his name. You know, they're the ones that blame white supremacy for everything. You know, I mean, I give you the prime example, Fannie Willis. Fannie Willis has an affair with a married. Listen, Fannie Willis has an affair.
That's like the worst
with
example.
A married man.
Yeah.
She goes to the black church and blames the white man.
Well, and you know what? And she did that because we believe it.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and and she did it because we believe it.
That. Sensible black people are not going to argue that.
But the thing about it, Phil, most of us will accept that and say yes.
Yeah,
that's why she went to that church and said it.
It has become the norm.
I think it's something else, and it's actually something.
No, it's the norm. No, Phil, you're in denial, sir. Most black people in America will believe that.
Let me say it. Let me say my response, and then you can disagree.
Okay, fine.
All right, let me say it. And this is the thing. We all have people in our family that are way off key. We all do. But we don't spend the time to try to really get that on key. And part of it is because we know those people don't listen to anybody, right? And so part of I would say the academic and performance issue of non-accountability is because we're not, as individuals, really willing to sacrifice very much. Part of it is time, part of it's money, and part of it's selfishness. And so I think that's one part of it. And what do I mean by that? And I'm not saying that people should do what my dad did, but I'm just going to give it as an example because I think it's relevant. And it's something that he emphasized with our family, which was to volunteer your time. And when my dad finished a 40-year advertising career, he went back into the schools because he had started out as a school teacher and taught at the prison for kids that were felons. So he went into the prison system and taught math for 10 years after he had retired. Now, I'm not saying that every black person needs to do what my dad did, but that's an example of, listen, I've had my career, I've had my success, I've made my money, and now I want to give my time and my ability back to my community to try to make it better. And the truth of it was that a lot of those kids, he would show me the letters of, because many of these kids were black males, that how grateful they were that there was a black male teacher that was teaching them math and showing them respect. And that when they got out of jail, if they were going to, some of them were never going to, that they were going to try to make something of themselves. And I'm of the view, and it's partially because my family is of this view, that if you take some time and just give to your community, that can make a tremendous difference. Now, is it going to correct all the problems that you're talking about, American Riflemen? No, it will not, because it's a huge problem. There are 40 million, Black American people, And the scale, that's a job of government, not a job of individuals. But that being said, we can do more as individuals. So I wanted to throw that out. Then the other part of it is something that I've talked to Dynas about specifically, which is that we don't have businesses, family businesses, the way that we used to, and we don't engage our kids in those businesses. And part of the reason why these kids are playing around, in my view, at school is because they are not looking to school to gain skills to help their family make money. If your kid was actually engaged, like I gotta help Dynas with his tour company, with the finances, I'm gonna help him do the books, then he's gonna take that math class a little bit more seriously because he has a job to do, which is to help his family make money. And that's something that we lost in this effort to go try to integrate and go work at big white companies and so on and so forth. We lost the self-agency that you're talking about, American First Rifleman and Coffee. But I'm not going to sit and say that policy doesn't matter. It does, but it only matters if you are in a position to take advantage of that policy once it's in place. And what I'm arguing is that we're not in the position to leverage any policy that comes our way. The money that we would make or generate from any policy that comes our way, in my view, will predominantly wind back in the Zungu hands very quickly because we don't have the institutions to keep it in our community. For example, if we have a Black restaurant, very often it has a Black staff, but in some cases it has other people in those restaurants. I challenge you to go into an Asian restaurant that doesn't hire only Asians. That maybe occasionally they have a Mexican or two in there, but generally speaking, they hire their own people. We, on the other hand, and I, several of my friends have small businesses. I hear complaint after complaint about how we show up to these Black businesses unprepared to work, unprepared to do the job. And that is a problem that our families have to take on. It's the job of mother and father to teach those kids how to be a worker and how to open their own business. But we're not doing any of that. We're worried about what Zaddy Trump is going to do for us and what Zaddy Biden is going to do.
Nah, that's
we spend 3 times the amount of time talking about that than we do about what we're going to do with our own families. I challenge you to prove me wrong on that.
Well, the thing of maybe I got triggered because you use Trump as an example to say what people are talking about. And what I'm saying, we're not even talking, we're talking about buffoonery like Nikes and basketball. And that's really what we're talking about. That's why, like me, I'm so culturally different, and certain groups of Black people don't like me because I really just reject all hip hop culture or aesthetics. Like, I'm not gonna say I don't like to listen to it once in a while. I watch a little football or whatever, but as far as like that basketball American culture, it makes me like that. To me, that is the centerpiece as to why we are down in the dumps as we are, because that's the majority of the pursuits we look into. When you look at other races of people, yes, there's going to be the basketball sneakerheads, but there's the nerds. And now you can say like, oh, we got blurs and we got Black people that do, but they're at so small, minuscule numbers that it's just like, I don't meet many Black people like myself. I might see them on the internet, and maybe I have a friend or two that's kind of like me that's Black, but other than that, it's not the norm. You know why it's not the norm? Because when I'm in groups of Black people, I get clowned for coming to work on time. I get clowned for speaking correct English. I get, shunned by my own people as I love the white man because I do the actual bare minimum to achieve. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of times when I see a lot of this, what you were explaining when, people show up to their Black business underprepared or whatever, when we're in even other settings with other people or amongst each other, we're the majority of people that are cutting up. And if you point it out, you the bad one. You love the white man. You love Zaddy. You not saying you saying that stuff, but I'm just saying that's what I've gotten in my whole life.
I
my
believe
own
that
people.
to be true. I'm just saying that we can't listen, man. Achievers.
So that's why it's hard for me to talk about white people when I see with my very own eyes my own people doing the destruction.
Well,
the white man can help set the conditions. The white man helps set. And sorry, not to cut you off. The white man can always and the small hats help set the conditions, but we keep jumping in the damn tiger trap.
Well, we will agree on that. My question to you, or my point to you, is achievers surround themselves with achievers. Doers do. Whether other people choose not to do, that's on them. The ultimate thing here is, with regards to rap culture, Hollywood culture, sneaker culture, hip hop, in my experience, and I think I've shared this, that when I first started my legal career, I actually was in the law department for the public schools. And so my job, I was like the executioner. My job was to fire people and to expel kids and to deal with truancy. And I found a pattern. And the pattern was this. When I would ask Black kids, particularly in the expulsion and truancy component, right? Let's just ignore what's going on with this hearing. What is your dream? What if you had no barriers, just for a minute, what would you like to be and do? What were the two top answers? Number one, rapper. Number two, basketball or pro athlete. And I said to them, if you don't focus on your schoolwork, then how are you going to keep your money from these jobs? If you can't read and write and critically think, how are you going to read over your contract to make sure that you're not cheated? My point in bringing this up was not to criticize the kids. It was to say they are aspirational. The only things that they see as success are pro athletes and entertainers. And that is the problem of our community as a whole.
Because that's the least regulated. That's the least regulated because, I mean, you don't have the diversity training or the diversity or affirmative action in sports, at least not yet for Blacks. So in terms of getting a foothold into that industry,
okay, but let me throw this to you guys. Let me throw this to you so that you can respond. Hold on. That same energy, I have a buddy right now that's a Hollywood executive, a Black guy. He went to, I want to say it's Tanzania, and he started a propane company. Just he decided he was going to go, started a propane company. If these kids were logged in and we were circulating our thought and our economics to get our kids actually engaged, we could build the institutions we need to raise our level and raise our thought. But we're not, it's like right now, American First Rifleman, he's trying to build security companies so that he can go to Africa and do the same thing. If he goes and he starts one and, he gets married and he has a kid and he teaches that kid about that business, then that can multiply. It can countervail the energy for entertainment and sports, because someone in his neighborhood will see that American First Rifleman is doing this. I gotta believe Dynas has had an influence on these people that live around him, doing all these trips to Africa. Dynas, has that been true?
He lives in Atlanta.
But has it been true that he's met Black people, and because of what he does, people have taken an interest in Africa? Dynas, is that true?
That's true.
Dynas, have people been trying to figure out how they can go with you and so on because they found out what you did?
Yes.
This is how we change it, fellas. That's how we change it.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is, again, everything goes back to policy, because as long as you have both domestic policies and international policies that are hostile to domestic capital accumulation and free trade, you're going to have the same lagging, slow, stagnant economic growth and development in Africa. As long as you have governments that, just like the Democrats, believe that government is there to regulate and control business and not facilitate entrepreneurial development, you're going to have these problems in Africa. You're going to have these problems.
I would argue that's true, but I would also argue Dynas did not make that decision to start this business because of who was in office. He did it because he wanted to start a business, and the policy he would figure out. True.
No, I'm not saying that's not an. I'm not saying that's not an improvement. Of course, free association, and voluntarism, outreach, etc., and networking is important. It's very important. But just like domestic voluntarism and activism in the Black community, without policy, then that's just gonna be like running on a treadmill. It's just gonna be like rolling the boulder up the hill like Sisyphus, right? Because the policies.
I agree with
hostile.
American First. I agree with American First Riflemen on that opinion, Kofi, because it's defeatist. I agree with you that we have a major problem in a lot of these African countries, that the leadership is being led around by the nose by the Westerners and so on and so forth. But it's the same defeatist attitude that American First Rifleman was complaining about within our community of people not engaging and blaming the white man. At some point, you, Kofi, me, Phil, Dynas, American First Rifleman have to put down our roots, what we want to do, and to change it from the bottom up, not from the top down. I just made that argument to focus on that from the bottom up.
Policies that foster entrepreneurship and peaceful cooperation is not top down. If the Black community was safe, if it wasn't crime ridden, and when I say Black community, I mean the minority, because we all know that is really a minority. To put things in context, most Black people aren't poor, and most Black people, the vast majority of Black people aren't in the high crime statistics. So it's the minority that's causing most of the problems, right? But if you have policies that foster peace and capital accumulation and entrepreneurship, that's bottom up, because all the policies do is to allow people to peacefully interact and cooperate.
Thank you, Kofi. Thank you.
Right, unlike what's going on now. So if we have policies that allow that, then we can build bottom up. That's how capitalism operates. Capitalism is not a top-down system, it's a bottom-up system. It's about voluntary exchange, private property, and economic freedom, right? And that's the reason why China.
I would argue that capitalism is structured by the laws and its enforcement. If you just had people trying to make markets, but you don't have referees in government, then it doesn't work, which is unfortunately what happens in a lot of African countries, is that there is the structure by which the capitalism is being used is not effective. For example,
because there's too much government.
Well, no, you don't
it's
have
not the lack of government.
Yes.
No, hold
on. You don't have an effective market system to be able to
because government destroyed.
No,
with
because
all the regulations, all the import duties, all the controls, those things destroy market, destroy networks.
It's true, but it's also true that they can't.
Okay, so he's right. It's true.
No,
there you go.
It's not just that though. Look, you could have all the things that he's saying, and if you took them away, it still wouldn't work. American Riflemen. The problem that
bottom up.
No, the problem.
What do you mean it wouldn't work?
If you took away all of the overregulation and corruption at the top of African countries, they still would not work. And it's
but it worked in other areas. That's how China did it. That's how India did it.
No, that's not how China did it. China closed their market.
No,
they did. Let me finish. and they
right.
set up free trade zones in those, because when Mao first went in, he basically tried hard industrialize like a communist, and it didn't work. They just basically produced a bunch of shoddy goods. So then when Deng Xiaoping was able to rise in leadership, they set up what were called free trade zones, where foreign entities were able to come into these parts of China and operate. The Chinese government had okay, but
those free trade zones had less regulations. That's the whole point of a free trade zone.
That they removed the regulations, but the ownership of the goods and services that came out of them were controlled by the Chinese government.
No, it wasn't. If companies,
I did this for a living. I'm trying to tell you.
Hold on.
I did this for a living.
Let me pass. Let Yamoji. Go ahead, Yamoji. Unmute yourself.
Hi, Donis. Thanks for letting me join.
Go dogs. Go
dogs. Sick 'em. Okay, so I am for the Africa plan, but I think we need to have the right level of finances in place to sustain us there. And there are opportunities all around us here in the States. So I'd like to see us drop that defeatist approach and start opening up our eyes. One, partner with the right people, set up the right kind of structure, be it a joint venture partnership, have all the legalities done, and then start looking in the news for opportunities. We already know that migrants are here. They need housing. They need jobs. Look at that as a gift that they're here. Yes, it's impacting us, but turn that around. Also, I have a tech background and a real estate background. So I'm always following tech news. I think late January, Amazon announced that they're funneling $10 billion to Jackson, Mississippi, little old Madison County, Jackson, Mississippi, to build a data center. They'll need housing. So I took that tech news and I went to real estate. I went to realtor.com. I looked up the price of housing and the inventory in Jackson, Mississippi. There are properties that are $5,000 in Jackson, Mississippi. The data center is coming in 2027. Some of those properties, they need work. I saw land for $9,000. If you pooled money together and you had your right legal structure in place, you wouldn't be worried about what else is going on. You'd be making your way over to Jackson to buy up as much as you can. They're bringing 1,000 jobs. So all of those people will either need a place to rent or a place to buy in 3 years. You should be the landlord or the seller that is filling that need. We don't have time to sit around and complain and figure out what policy is impacting what. We need to look for opportunities. That's all I have.
Thanks, sister. That's beautiful.
Is housing in Mississippi, where you're talking about, is housing affordable in that area?
Who cares? The properties are less than $30,000. You're looking at the people that are coming.
Yeah, that's affordable.
I'm just asking. Hold on. You don't have to get defensive. I'm just asking you a question about the housing opportunities. The housing market, is it prohibitively expensive?
No, I'm telling you, there are houses.
Why?
Diners, can you pull it up? There are houses out there.
Okay. Why?
Let me answer. You had a question.
You're right. Mississippi is one of the poorest states in the country. You have a winner's mentality, and this is what we need to do. Exactly what you said is exactly how we should think through that problem.
Yeah, but why is housing so affordable?
Listen, let me finish. So I was recruited by IBM to go to Baton Rouge back in 2015. Recruited from LA to go there. They did the exact same thing. And what was I able to do? Pick up a property about 8 miles out.
She's in the
New Orleans for $23,000. Took my time, fixed it, flipped it a few years later. I was a part of a group though, so it wasn't just individualistic approach. And we're doing this around the country. You can't do it alone. You need people because you'll have ups and downs in your income. But pool together and let's start taking advantage of these opportunities. I went on to DXC in New Orleans. They did the same thing. They had tax credits that the government gave them over a 10-year period. The same thing. Let's start using the news and the information to keep us in an opportunistic mindset versus this defeatist mindset.
All right. So the reason why I ask is because in America, housing affordability is a big problem. You understand? So based on what you're saying is that the place that you're talking about, housing is affordable in that area. So I was just asking, why was it affordable there as opposed to other parts of the United States that have such a problem with affordability when it comes down to housing? Because the affordability for housing goes back again to policies, the Federal Reserve and zoning laws. These things make housing, restrict the supply of housing and make it more expensive.
I think you're getting in the weeds, brother. I think you're getting in the weeds a little bit.
That's not our problem.
Yeah.
But that's policy.
Oh, no, hold on. Can I say something real quick? Look, the sister just said there's opportunity. That the thing about it is we always talk about how depressed neighborhoods we live in or the white man swindles something out from under us. But she's literally giving you the game on how there's with a low barrier to entry to benefit you in a group of your own people. And then we start talking about this other stuff, which I'm not saying you shouldn't have a conversation about it, but I'm just saying, like, no, man, like it's
no. I'm not saying no. I'm not saying there aren't opportunities. Of course, there are opportunities.
No, I know you didn't say that, but what I'm saying is you're kind of in a way. I don't think you understand. Like, I know you're not doing it on purpose, but in a way, you're kind of trying to like bat away what she's saying, and what she's saying is paramount to everything we're talking about. No, don't say no. Like, what she's saying is literally important. If literally 5 people on this live stream did what she did, and 5 people after that did that, Black folks would be in a way better position. So that's all I'm saying.
Of course, you're going to do your due diligence. You're going to look up landlord-tenant law in case you can't flip it after 90 days. You're going to do all your due diligence. But I'm telling you, the opportunity is there for you to even do your due diligence about. So now you know, hey, Jackson is an area. Let me go look at their real estate law. But in the forefront of your mind should be that Amazon is going to bring 1,000 jobs there. I would say out of those 1,000 jobs, 600, they're going to bring people from elsewhere because they don't have the skill set there. They'll establish the skill set, but they're going to bring 600 people from around the country to fill those jobs. They're going to be from Seattle, California. They're going to be from a lot of places that want a particular thing in housing. So now you have an asset that you're going to work on building up to make it available for them when they get there. And you're going to know about all the laws. You're going to have your financing together. You and your team are going to be contributing to this pot of money as you pick up properties to fix them up.
Yeah, but the problem is, if you don't understand,
I'm not here for the butts. I'm not here for the butts, sir. I'm not.
All right, allow me to
That's
finish.
for you and your team to understand.
Right. Allow me to finish. If you don't understand how policy interact with all these things,
she just said everybody's gonna go.
I'm not finished.
Oh my God, bro.
Hold on. I do know because I'm actually a licensed broker. Also, I'm a real estate broker.
I'm not finished.
So I know about doing due diligence.
Right.
It sounded like you're just trying to argue, Kofi.
Done or wouldn't do. I'm not.
I'm just trying to make a point. So if you don't understand policy and how policy interact with certain economic realities, we're gonna make the same mistake as we did before 2008, where flipping houses and using houses as credit cards is going to backfire.
Nobody did she tell you to go into debt? I don't think I heard her say go into debt.
I don't think I said that's what she was saying.
This is the problem.
Here's a silver bullet for your concern. If she's successful enough and builds enough, she can change the policy with the money she makes.
Yes.
Bam.
No, you don't. Okay, well, you can't change.
Well,
You
also too,
literally
what she's
If
saying, you don't
if
have to go into massive amounts of debt. So what you're saying is not kind of like whack, because she never said go into massive amounts of debt to get a. She literally said go into it with other
She
people.
mentioned flipping housing a while ago.
You don't need to go into debt to flip
Did she
houses all the
mention?
time.
Did she mention flipping
What
housing?
what are you
At
talking
a
about, dude?
$5,000 price point, I think you can flip that, even if it's
Yeah,
30 or
dude.
40.
Yeah,
I
I don't think you. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You getting into the weeds, brother.
Where you can flip that?
All over the country.
Listen
What are you
for
talking about?
understanding versus listen to tear something down.
Exactly.
No,
Say this
I'm
on a
just.
live forum to people without understanding that I need to be very ginger.
I just
go
asked
about it
one
gingerly.
question. Why is it that housing is so how housing is so affordable where you're talking about and
Some of these
not in other
properties
areas?
need work. I didn't ask
Because
that
it's a
question when I
really
went
poor
into
state.
New Orleans. I didn't ask that question.
If people are going to
People were living
invest,
right.
if
You know
people are
why
going to
they were
invest
available?
capital,
really,
you have to tell them
poor
why.
state.
They were available.
You have to
really
tell
poor
them
state.
why.
You are afraid to make a move. That's why
You're
they're
afraid to
available.
answer the question. Why
I'm
is
not afraid
housing
to
so?
answer the question.
It's one of the
So
poorest
answer the
states.
question. Why is housing
Because
so
people like
affordable?
you are afraid
It's
to make a
set to
move
the
because
cost
they're
of
down in the
living,
weeds.
and it's a really
Why
poor
is
state.
housing so affordable in Mississippi?
Because
Why?
it's a really poor state. It's one
That's
of the
not
poor
true.
states.
Yes, it
America,
is. It's the poorest in the nation, dude.
listen,
Mississippi is like 48
listen,
or
Jamaica,
49.
Jamaica is
I got Kofi. Mississippi is one of the poorest states, if not the poorest state in the union. God,
hold on.
Kofi.
Hold on, let me address that.
About?
Mississippi is one of the poorest states in America.
Yes.
Very important.
Yes.
Two. Hold on. Listen.
That's why Amazon's going there.
Listen, you have to
The
listen.
tax breaks and do what they want to do. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to listen. It is the poorest states in America are wealthier than the
Here we
middle
go.
class.
Nah, dude. Now you talking just to
Well, you have
talk,
to
bro.
listen.
Now
You
you're
have to
talking
listen.
to talk,
You have
man.
to listen. Listen
I'm
and follow the
sorry.
argument. Listen and follow the argument. The poorest
No,
states in
you
America.
literally have a problem and solution for everything. Like I can
Let's hear
rock
his
with you on.
When you
argument.
finish.
Oh my
Let's hear
God.
his
Okay, go ahead.
argument, and then we can
When you
respond.
finish, I'll
Let's
start
hear it.
again. Yeah. All right. So Mississippi is the poorest state in America. But it is wealthier than, say, Jamaica. And in Jamaica, housing is unaffordable. Why? Because of the same problems in a lot of the states in America, zoning laws. You understand? So it's not poverty makes housing affordable or unaffordable. It is the policies, the zoning laws. So I'm asking you again, what are the laws in Mississippi that makes it so special? Because based on my research, America
Zoning
has
is a local
housing.
thing.
That's for you to look up and you to
Okay,
do your
all
due
right.
diligence.
Zoning is
fine.
local. It goes by
Fine.
county.
You don't know.
It goes by county.
Okay.
Zoning goes by
you would
county,
know.
dude.
All right, so you don't know. You don't know. Okay.
The argument is, what is the winning mentality and what's the losing mentality? And the frame that this young woman has put forward is a winning mentality. The tectonic plate.
It's winning in California. Where housing is unaffordable.
Oh
And then
my
I will give
God,
it right
bro.
back to you. The tectonic plates of the elite in this country have decided to lower wages by letting more immigrants in. Period. Full stop. They are doing it. Now that they've decided that they're doing it, you can respond to it with a winning attitude, or you can respond to it with a losing attitude. And what she's saying is, since the tectonic plate has shifted, let me figure out how I can make money off of the shift. And this is what I'm saying. That's where our energy should be spent, not spent
Because you
on.
can best believe if
Yeah.
any of those New York migrants with their $1,000 debit card that they got can get that $1,000 off and pair up with 5 or 6 others, they're making their way to Jackson to buy these properties and fix them up.
Yeah, what the
While
problem
you're
is,
sitting back trying to figure out
but those
when and
cards,
why.
those cards aren't free. It's from the taxpayers. That money that they're giving the migrants. That's
Well,
not
that
from.
don't matter. Okay, why are you bringing up something completely different from what you're talking about?
Because you're gonna be taxed.
But
Look,
they
the
already
government.
decided.
Oh my God.
They already decided they're going to do it. They already
Wow.
decided
Brethren,
to give them the money.
Brethren, if the government is giving
Kofi,
millions.
now you doing a Lumumba thing. Now you too smart for your
No,
own
I'm
good
not a
right now.
communist. Don't mix me up with communists.
Nah, because you're
If the
trying
government,
to. Now you're not listening. You just talking.
yeah. All right, I can talk now, or you want?
No. I'm just saying, like Kofi, you've taken on the moniker of you just want to disagree with people now.
Can I make a point?
You've made several points, and they really weren't points at all.
Can I make a
But go
point?
ahead.
No, yes or no?
Go
Yes
ahead,
or
make
no?
another point, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. So government doesn't have cash sitting around free. Okay, if the government is gonna take money and give to migrants, meaning it's taking money from you, the taxpayers. So it's just taking money from the left side of your pocket and giving on the right side of your pocket, while keeping some for itself. So you can't look on the fact that these migrants have lots of money from the government, and therefore that's a way of boosting the economy. That's not boosting the economy.
At what point did
That's
I say
just
that?
redistributing wealth. That's not creating any wealth. Government has no money to give anybody. It has to take from A to give to
Kofi,
B.
I get what you're saying, but this really doesn't have anything to do with what we're really trying to talk about.
Well, if you
You're
don't
just talking
understand
right
the
now.
connections, well, if you don't, well, all right.
No, I understand the connections, but we
All right, I'm
have
sorry.
other things that we're
Okay, I'm
talking about, and you're just being more convoluted.
No
But
free money. There's no free money out there. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not disagreeing with you, bro. I'm not. We were talking about empowering Black people. Now you started talking about how
money is
migrants
not free.
tax. Nobody said that. Money comes from somewhere. We know that. We're not socialists around here.
Okay, so
Especially
where the
not the
money come
sister.
from to
Okay,
give the
listen, hold
immigrants?
on. Especially with the sister right here, Dynast and me, we're like staunch capitalists. So, and Philip, obviously, he's a capitalist because he's a lawyer. So,
Philip is
so
a capitalist. You don't sound like a
Come on,
capitalist.
Philip's a lawyer. Come on, he's a capitalist. Philip's a lawyer.
so I don't know, Kofi. I just think you just been wanting to start just to disagree with people just to disagree.
No,
Like I said, at
I'm
the end
sorry
of
if I come off that way.
day, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter
I'm
what the
sorry if
zoning
I come
is.
off that
It
way.
doesn't. Kofi. It doesn't matter what the zoning is. It doesn't
Yes,
matter
it does.
what all
Yes,
this
it
other
does.
stuff is. There's opportunities for groups of Black people to make
But didn't you just say
today.
that policies matter? I thought you said policies
Oh my
matter.
God!
They do.
See,
That's a
this is
part
what
of
I'm
your due
talking about.
diligence. You may do your due diligence and think, you know what, Madison County, Mississippi is not for me, and then you move on to the next one. But you have to have a starting point. I'm
just
not
asking
advocating going
questions.
out there buying without knowing.
I'm just
That's
asking questions.
at no
That's all.
point did I recommend that. But I am advocating researching, and if it works for you, jump in feet first.
Okay.
Mind
With
you,
that
she said
mentality,
with groups.
we can win. We can win.
Exactly.
Win. And that's what we should be talking about, not talking about plantation owners and what they're going to do for us. They're not going to do anything.
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and close out. Hey, everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family, Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. Peace.
Peace.